You're watching Swiss Watch International's World of Watches. We're so glad you've joined us. You'll hear us say it over and over again. You've encountered the best 3 hours in watches, maybe in all of television. We kind of like the show because you're with us. And we have some very special deals with you. Now, our second hour in the program, we're going to have all Swiss made, which you're going to love. You're going to see some of our brands and some brands that maybe have been around for a very, very long time, but this time on 5 and 6 stress-free payments. It's going to be incredible. Now, don't go away because you know there's going to be a lot of good deals to come. And on behalf of myself, Wiley, and
Megan Harris,
we are looking forward to spending this time with you. So if you know somebody that loves watches, somebody that really enjoys exactly what we have to offer, well, you're going to find it at some of the best prices right now. So give them a call, and you stick around for a while, too. We have something very special over the next 3 hours.
So while our second hour is going to be all Swiss-made watches, we've still got a lot of surprises in store for hours 1 and 3. And what we're actually going to do is bring out all bestsellers. Now, what's fun about this is we've actually been doing bestsellers from even the previous week's shows. So a lot of these items are actually technically new arrivals, but you guys love them so much, they're already considered some of the best sellers on the website. And that's WorldofWatches.com. The difference between World of Watches TV and the website is we actually take those items, we further reduce the price, and as Wiley mentioned, we give you stress-free payments. Now, that is not a layaway plan, so that's why it's so awesome right now, especially if you're shopping for holiday gifts, because what happens is you'll actually get your purchases after making your first payment, and you'll see it all broken down in the graphics per item. So 5 and 6 payments across the board, and what's awesome is 6 is actually legally what we are allowed to offer here. So we have maxed out today's show to give you guys the best value. All of the prices and the deals, they expire Sunday, midnight Eastern Standard Time. So it's going to give you guys a little bit of time to shop. But as we've seen historically, items that are big sellers sometimes tend to sell out throughout the show. So this is what we're going to suggest to you. Because you're getting it with the lowest price and with the stress-free payments, best thing to do is to lock it in when you see it on the show. The entire lineup is posted at WorldofWatches.tv, so you can follow along there or shop in the future. That's what we like to do. Future.
Because we have more watches available than we can possibly show you in 3 hours. So what that means is if you go to the website, you may find watches we haven't even had a chance to air that have had the prices drop right down into the basement. So occasionally on the the top 10 sellers, you may find a watch. Well, I didn't even see that because it's on the website. And there are deals that'll come in our next show that, well, you can access right now.
That's right, and we've also got one more special thing I want to make note of. We're going to do something very special every show now through the holiday season. We're going to pick one watch that we've given a dramatically low price, almost a record-breaking price on an item, and we're almost calling it that Secret Santa gift because the price is so low, it's so affordable. Maybe you'll use it using the stress-free payments to get more than one, or maybe you will give it to your Secret Santa if you've pulled somebody's name in the office pool and you're just not quite sure what to get them. So we'll talk all about that as we get through it, but the first thing we're going to do is jump into a little bitty preview and show you what's coming up in our first hour together. You love this watch, and I do too.
I do love this watch. They have done such a great job. You know, this is a brand new selection from Lucien Piccard, and being able to have this watch, which is brand new, I mean, this is just absolutely right off the plane brought to us. This is an absolutely incredible value because under $120, you are getting an incredible new design. Now, the 3-hand configuration is, of course, the hour, the minute, continuously operating sweep hand, those 2 additional subdials for the chronograph, as well as a date complication and all of this style. It looks and feels like that luxury timepiece, that dress watch you're looking for, but here you're getting it well under that $200 wow price and certainly well under the $500 list price. All of this brand new. It's going to make a great gift, even if it's just for yourself. This is the new Lucien Piccard Murano. Now, right behind that
is a brand new red line watch. This is the 50mm Jetstream 288304. What this is not just a multifunction. It has multiple time zones inside one dial. That's right. For just $50, you've got 3 independent movements reflecting 3 independent time zones inside one watch. How cool is that? Now, as the name Redline suggests, this is that hot rod collection, all about automotive motorsports, all about pushing it to the red line. So you'll notice that all of the dials, all of the cases, they have some sort of automotive inspiration, almost as if you were looking at the speedometer of a high-end race car. All this, that's right, 3 independent movements for $100 total. Even better is the stress-free payments, $20 it ships, 288-305. You also get a 5-year warranty on that movement.
Coming up right behind, oh, we love Ebel. This is one of my favorite watches. You'll hear me say this over and over again when the time is right. There are certain watches that I would say if I could only have one watch and you couldn't pick anything else, you would pick this watch. This is one of those watches. It's a 42 millimeter case. The watch is absolutely beautiful. I mean, it's one of those classic configurations all the way around. And it's certainly from a company that, you know, if you're billing yourself as the architect of time, you know you have to be doing pretty well. This watch is by a company that's been around since 1911, and here is one of those classic timepieces. The fit and finish on this, you can tell the moment you pick it up, just like when you pick up a Breitling or any of the other high-end watches, that you are holding truly an absolutely perfect timepiece. I love this one. It is comfortable on the wrist. It has 200 meters of water resistance, a unirotating bezel. It's a dive watch.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the most luxurious dive watches you're going to find because it'll take you from the office out to that elegant dinner theater, out on the cruise, and then down 200 meters underwater and bounce back the next day at the office. You may not, but the watch will bounce back the next day at the office and look just as good. You are getting probably one of the highest quality, and that's why you're seeing that $1,000 price point. And you know, you can see our WOW price of $21.74. In just a moment, they'll pull up the list price on this so that you can see what it sells for when you go out to a jewelry store, when you go out into the wild to buy this. Now, this is really just gorgeous. Now, I think they have another configuration of this. It's in a darker tone case.
It's gunmetal, yeah.
Which one do you like better? Do you like the stainless or do you like the darker gunmetal?
I think the stainless is more classic. I like this one.
Yes. If you want to get this for me for Christmas, I'm going to be very pleased.
And you know, it's funny, the director just whispered, he didn't whisper it, I suppose he said it into the earpiece, but he wants this watch as well. That's funny. 284-280, the X1 Chrono from Ebel.
I like that one. Speaking of fine timepieces, I went ahead and went into the vaults and, you know, had to fight off everybody in there to pull this out because they know I'm going straight for the Breitlings.
Of course, we always know.
Well, isn't it just a beautiful watch?
It's gorgeous.
When you're looking at the Transocean, now this is the 43 millimeter case. And to the best of our ability, we're going to try to start using more and more in our graphics. You're going to see the size of the watches because it is difficult. I mean, there's times even when we're doing reviews, they can pop a picture up there and we're going, ooh, is that the 42, the 41? And because some of the styles can look very similar within a collection. Here with the 43 millimeter Transocean automatic, you're dealing with a watch that has, get this, 450 pieces. Megan, I just bought a watch, one of our Lucien Picards, that has 200. It's a limited edition piece. Here's one that has 450 parts inside. And I feel confident they had me put this together, there'd be parts left over. You'd know there would be.
You're like, what's with all these leftover screws?
Who needs this? 42 hours of power reserve in the B19 movement. That's a 38 joule automatic. Of course, that's sapphire crystal. And if you look right there, and the crystal on this, I'm going to turn it sideways, and I just need you to see that it's almost like that old style Hesalite crystal. But of course, that's sapphire, and the fact that it is raised above the case, you know they're putting a lot of confidence to just, you know, take a peek just for a second. And I want you to just look at the crystal on this. I'm going to turn it sideways, and I just need you to see that it's almost like that old style Hesalite crystal. But of course, that's sapphire, and the fact that it is raised above the case, you know they're putting a lot of confidence in that crystal if you're going to have that much exposure. But that's not unfounded confidence because sapphire is the second hardest substance outside of diamond. And it's certainly the hardest substance you're going to find on as a watch crystal. I think the watch is just perfect all the way around. Now, when you look at the detail as you come in even closer and take a peek at all those dials, you realize that each sub-dial has two hands. So each dial and sub-dial is performing multiple functions within the watch. You also have such a level of accuracy within this watch that it only has to be adjusted once every leap year. Now, outside of the time change that may take place for daylight savings time, but as far as setting the calendar, setting the month, setting the date, the day, the gears inside are already pre-programmed that they know, and they make all the appropriate changes. So the only adjustment is once every leap year, every 4 years, you're going to have to adjust it. I think the watch is absolutely incredible. Of course, starting, there is our pusher at the 2 o'clock, which is going to start our chronograph. There is our stop, and there is our reset. You notice it snaps into place. One of the most comfortable bracelets you're going to find in the watch world, and probably one of the most beautiful. Now, because this is the Transocean, it's celebrating not the crossing of the ocean by a transatlantic ship, but by plane. And that was a much more elegant and sophisticated time where people truly love to dress up for, not like they dress up now. I mean, some people dress up, but you just go, wow, that was your house on fire when you left? But this is, you've run into those people on planes, haven't you?
Absolutely.
They always want to have a conversation with you. Hi, what do you do? And
I just tell them I'm a hand model.
I also want you to see that the watch really is gorgeous all the way around. I'm going to slip it on the wrist, and you can take a peek and just see that this really is the right size, both for me and even if you wanted to wear this. You'd look good in this watch.
You know what I was going to say is I know that we have this in the 38 millimeter, and of course the price is going to be different because this has a much more complicated movement with a lot more features. But I really am partial to the 43 millimeter over the 38, especially for gentlemen out there. I like the look of the dial with a little bit more going on, and I like the size. And yes, this is also a size. We'll see ladies' watches sometimes that are designed even larger. My hot pick is a 42 millimeter today. So I definitely think it could be a unisex timepiece, especially as today's trends with women watches, we see them getting larger and larger.
You'll notice that is a perfect fit for my wrist. Now, when you have a stainless steel woven mesh bracelet like this, one of the things that maybe folks don't like is if you size it down smaller to a smaller wrist like yours, you're carrying around a lot of extra metal because it's usually wrapped under. Notice that even though this looks solid, right as you get to the end, those are actually links right there that can come out. So if you take a peek, you can see those links can come out. So that if you did decide to have this watch, you could take out all the appropriate links, and then it goes back to the woven metal, and no one would know that you've taken those out outside of you, because this would be really comfortable on your wrist.
I'm going to try that on for a second if you don't mind.
Why are you taking my nice stuff? This is why we can't have nice things.
This is why we can't have nice things. I have a 6-inch wrist, and what's nice about this is the bracelet can be sized down to accommodate even a 6-inch wrist, so this is great. Ladies, if you like the look as well, again, we do have it in the 38 millimeter. Look at how nice this
But you're
looks.
behind my logo.
Oh, no, I was
You're hiding my top pick going, oh, look, isn't that lovely? You're evil.
Here it is on my 6-inch wrist. Wraps around beautifully, no gapping, no spacing, of course, very generous bracelet length. And to echo what Wiley said, I love the stainless steel woven or mesh bracelet because what you get is something that almost has the flexibility of wearing a rubber or a silicone strap. Because notice that the bracelet just follows the shape of your anatomy, almost like it's custom made for you. But then, of course, you get that amazing quality and that high-end design of having stainless steel over having a rubber or silicone. All right, there's one last look. Wiley's top pick, but of course, I'm approving it as well.
I like that one. I think you should buy it.
All right, well, what a perfect way to segue from Wiley's top pick to my hot pick.
Hot pick.
I went with a Swiss-made watch as well. Mine is actually also from our second hour, but a little bit different because my hot pick is the all-new Swiss-made, Swiss legend Blue Genève collection. Now, I had the pleasure of being in a very cool behind-the-scenes meeting this past week, last week, at our company. It was a meeting all about our new styles coming out with our COBs, our company-owned brands. And actually, I believe in the next couple of shows, we're going to be able to show some behind-the-scenes video and photos that were taken. And I have to tell you guys out there, and gals, of course, Our company-owned brands, Swiss Legend, Lucien Piccard, Redline, Ben & Sons, Cabochons, we have a lot of very, very exciting things coming up to share, so I cannot wait for that. I have a feeling a lot of my hot picks moving forward are going to be some of our own brands. I went with the new Blue Genève. Now, here's what's amazing. This collection, Swiss made, get this, comes in 4 different sizes. So for all you gentlemen out there that are looking at this 42 millimeter thinking it's beautiful, I wish it was a little bit larger, stay tuned because later on in the show, we're going to have this style available in a 46 and in a 48. But for those of you out there who are looking and thinking, well, as one of the girls on our crew said, she has a very teeny tiny wrist, she said, I love the watch, but I need something a little smaller. This watch also comes in a 38 millimeter. So I'm showing the 42 because I like things a little bit larger. I went with the 42 here, but the 38 still looks beautiful. Aren't we going to a close-up shot of it?
I'm going to move the graphic.
Okay, we can see it from afar here, and then we'll come in nice and close so you can see, because the real beauty starts, I believe, inside the dial and moves out to that bezel.
Oh, yes.
This is a watch where we have spared no expense. First of all, we're talking about a Swiss-made watch. A Swiss-made watch just like Wiley's Breitling was a Swiss-made watch. Your dial is multiple levels, but the outer chapter ring where your hour markers are applied is grade A mother of pearl. So you've got a mother of pearl dial, and notice that beautiful luminescence of the bezel insert. That's because your bezel insert is ceramic. So you've got a Swiss-made watch with mother of pearl and ceramic.
Isn't it interesting they took 2 contrasting durabilities? You have something as delicate as mother of pearl or nacre that is, that's why it's expensive, because there is a lot of damage before you can actually get to the point of making it so that you can find a piece that works for a watch. So delicate, you know, under that beautiful crystal, and then you have that hard ceramic. And they used to use enamel, but they used to chip, and that didn't look good after time. Now you have incredibly strong durability, 316L stainless steel. You have the ceramic, you have the Sapphitech crystal, and then you have that beautiful, delicate mother of pearl.
And I went with the 2-tone here. You can see I've got the rose tone and the silver tone. I love 2-tone watches. I think you get a lot of versatility out of a style like this because it will go with more jewelry. One last look I want to show you is the unique shape that we did for the case and bezel.
Oh, yeah.
It's a geometric shape, and it's actually called a dodecagon. And you can see here what they've done is they've almost beveled off all of the edges. It gives it that sport luxury look that to me also has a little bit of a nautical or maritime flair to it. Reminds me of the kind of cases and designs that you would see on something like Hublot or on a Corum watch. So I really like that luxury inspiration. Again, this is a Swiss-made watch. You've got the Swiss-made ISA 2331 quartz movement inside. 200 meters of water resistance, so a watch that you can dress up or you can wear to the beach. 5-year warranty on the Swiss-made movement, 10-year warranty on the Sapphitech crystal. All of that for $36. 287-844. Now, as I mentioned in our opening of the show, we're going to pick one watch every show moving forward through the holiday season that we are going to call our Super Holiday Deal, or our Secret Santa deal, if you will. And how perfect that this unisex Caravelle New York would kick it off for the holiday season. Now, the thing here is the watch actually case-wise is going to wear like a 44.5, almost 45 millimeter. And it's a modified tonneau shaped case. And you can see the case shape in that modified, almost squat tonneau shape with the circular shaped bezel. I'm calling it a unisex timepiece. I'm going to try it on, and of course I'll pass it over to Wiley. But the strap length can accommodate up to a 9-inch wrist. So there's a lot of wiggle room for all different wrist sizes to get into this timepiece. For those of you who are not familiar, Caravelle New York is an offshoot of Bulova. They are headquartered in New York City, but they are under the umbrella of Bulova timepieces. So you get a lot of that Bulova design, You get that brand heritage, being around since the 1800s, but it's a more affordable price point. In fact, this reminds me of the Marine collection, the Marine Star series that we see from Bulova. I'm going to show you the screwed down case back. You can see Caravelle, New York, and you can see it is designed in New York by the Bulova Corporation. That nautical inspired design in a Japanese chronograph quartz movement. Let me start and reset that chronograph right there. 24-hour AM PM indicator at the 3 o'clock position. And then your 30-minute short time totalizer, that you would actually use your chronograph to time something for a full half hour. Let's see if I can stop that and then reset using the pusher down there. Looking at your bezel is all done in brushed stainless steel to contrast with the mirror polishing and brushing of that modified to nose shape case.
Now, Megan, you know as well as I do, make sure the audience knows, you'll notice right there, that doesn't go all the way up to the 60. Often when a movement is put into a watch or is being tested, this hand can be moved by manipulating the crown and the other two pushers to anywhere on there to allow it to reset at the 60, the 15, anywhere they want. That is simply corrected by popping that crown and then using the pusher to one by one, second by second, move it to where you want it to be. So sometimes in the testing process, that doesn't always get moved back to 60. Easy to reset. Don't want you to think there's something wrong with the watch, or if you ever get a watch home. Sometimes if you have a sweep hand that's locked into the 12 o'clock position, or at least it should be, during the testing process, it could be moved to one of the other positions, and it may look like, well, mine's not set right. Often just moving the crown to one space out and then using the pushers to allow it to go back is exactly what it will needed to reset that to its original factory setting.
And you know what's great is on our website, there's a link to a YouTube channel. You can find us on YouTube just searching World of Watches. We have an entire section devoted to tutorials and different things you can learn about watches, and I believe we have a video up there on how to recalibrate your chronograph, in addition to other things such as how to set the tachymeter scale, the different types of buckles and straps there are. So it's worth noting that if you were to run into any sort of problems, it's a great place to go on our YouTube channel to kind of learn a little bit more. I went ahead and put this on my 6-inch wrist. Now I have it on the tightest closure, and when you get a closer shot, you'll see that it's a little bit loose. So, very simple. You can actually add an additional hole to the silicone strap. Now, of course, you wouldn't be able to return the watch after, so just make sure that you want to keep it. That's a very easy thing to do, and it requires you purchasing a tool from the internet for about $12, so it's very easy. Because it's a bigger, flatter case, you're going to see from a side profile that once it was tightened down, it would fit without any gapping or spacing. And it's a nice low profile design. It's not heavy, it's not bulky, it's easy to wear. You've got the soft touch silicone strap on there, so it's great for the water resistance of the timepiece and also kind of for that high fashion look. I'm going to take this off and pass it over to Wiley to try on. Do you wear white watches?
I wore a white watch today.
Did you?
I usually carry one with me, at least one watch. Don't you always carry a
I always
white watch?
I always have a backup watch.
Honestly, it is probably one of the most in or trendiest colors right now is white for both men and women. It's a very clean look, and Caravelle is the fashion arm, if you will, of Bulova. Just like Accutron would be the kind of scientific or the more advanced cutting edge, this is the more fashion forward, thus, you know, being styled in New York, and that's where they're headquartered. I think this is a beautiful watch because it has that fashion look, but this is really very high-end feeling and looking to the watch head. We've seen straps like this on a variety of watches, very inexpensive watches to the very expensive. But this is really what takes it to a different level. It really is more like that $100 to $200 piece. The $82 price is a steal, and I'm baffled at why they're doing it at $44.99. But I would say go ahead before somebody figures out what's going on and order it, because we'll honor it. And look, when have you seen a stress-free payment of $9?
You know what's amazing is if you keep in mind that you always have free shipping and free returns, you're putting out $9 on any major credit card, and that's all you will spend. There isn't a spend $35 to get free shipping or certain items qualify. Every single item, regardless of how much money you spend, we cover the cost of shipping. So in some cases, like as with this one with the stress-free payments, we actually run the risk occasionally of losing money, so to speak, on the shipping because it never costs you a dime to get your watches home. 262-380. This is a great item for the holidays. I love that. You're going to spend under $10 a month. 287-677, the 44 millimeter Mercury from Ben & Sons, a brand new watch collection that we've got 2 different flavors to showcase.
I think this, look, golly, we've got 2 really good looking watches. This is the one that I think I would pick. Now I know without a doubt the one that you're holding is the one my son would pick.
Yeah.
He really likes that style. He did not realize that we owned Ben & Sons.
I think Ben & Sons is so cool. And you know, when we were in this company-owned brands kind of preview meeting on Friday, we were sort of learning about when our designers get together and they design, they want watches that are individual to each brand. So you wouldn't look at a watch like this and say, oh, it's great for Ben & Sons, but it could also be a Swiss Legend. No. Every single watch company, every single brand that we own has its own brand heritage, its own DNA. And with Ben & Sons, it's all about that vintage luxury. The gentleman that wants to dress up, the gentleman that is looking for something to wear to the office that almost has that old world aesthetic to it.
And I think this watch has, I think maybe it's the satin finish on the gold that makes this look vintage, like it's had a history or life to it. And I love the fact that even though it has leather that meets right up to the case, it's still a solid end link. Now, if you were to feel this, you can see obviously that is soft leather, but there is a metal end link that is actually in there that when you see that, this is a flawless fit from this strap meeting up to this case. And by using that metal insert in there, it makes it so this doesn't move. I mean, there is not any give or gapping. It's not like over time, you know, oh, they've cut the leather to that shape. Is it going to fray over time or is it going to look bad? I think it looks incredible right now, and it's going to look that way for years and years to come. It really is a great looking timepiece. And as you're taking a peek at it, and you can see, look at how well that leather, and you can see how you can easily reach the pins. You're not going to damage the leather by having to pry it. You ever notice on some leather straps that they don't give you easy access to the pins and you have to kind of almost mess up the leather on the bottom to get the pin? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I hate that they do that too.
But look how they've done it here. We're just smart here. I hope they're listening back in the back office.
I'm patting myself on the back.
I don't mean me. I'm just a watch host. It's the designers back there. It's the guys back, just literally on the other side of this wall. They're just cobbling watches away right now. But honest to goodness, because the folks here are watch designers, watchmakers, and truly watch lovers, they have an eye for detail that you're not just going to get from everybody. And we love that. That's why we often speak with great confidence on the brands that are in our own family, because we know, I mean, literally, we can walk right down the hall to the guy who designed this watch and ask, why did you do that? I mean, I think it looks great.
Are you going to try that one on?
This one, I would be delighted. I think yours looks good.
I went ahead and put the next one on just because I couldn't wait anymore. And it's so crazy because it's really cool to see the same watch with a different color combination, and yet it has a completely different personality all its own.
What do you think?
I like the way the gold is all brushed like that.
See, I would easily wear that black one with what I'm wearing right now. What do you think about the brown against, you know, the blue and black that I'm wearing? Because this has a black dial. Obviously, they thought those two colors complemented.
I like that we see with Ben & Sons, they'll use black and brown together, because I know we've talked about this before. I always see, like, when my boyfriend's getting ready in the morning and he has to dress up for work, he, you know, depending on if he's wearing the brown shoes, he'll go for the brown watch, or the black shoes, he'll go for the black watch. And I think that this one kind of gives you that versatility of being able to do both.
And I love the fact, you notice how the lugs on this watch drop down? This makes it so that if you have a small wrist, I have a 6 3/4 inch wrist, this is a great fit. If you have a much larger wrist, this is still going to be a great fitting watch. But take a look at another color combination here and see, audience, which one you like better.
I like this one, I think. I think it has more of that edgy kind of high fashion look because it's done in that sleek all black ionic plating. You'll notice that where Wiley's gold tone was brushed, all of this black IP is mirror polished. Where his brown leather strap was croco embossed, this is a smooth leather with white contrast stitching, adds a nice pop to it. And then look inside the dial. You'll notice you've got the high contrast of the white against the black. But then in the center portion, you've got that little decoration done in rose tone to match the rose tone hands. And all 6 hands are done in that rose tone. You've got the piston style pushers and screw down crown, all done in black IP. And it's the exact same watch except on my 6-inch wrist. And you can see that it's too a perfect size on the tightest closure. It's still a relatively low profile design because it's a relatively flat case. Because the lug area is curved, I get that same sort of fit that Wiley got on his wrist. But because we know that not everybody has under 7-inch wrists, check out how generous the straps are. Our company-owned brands, the men's watches, the strap length is at least up to 9 inches. So gentlemen out there, even if you've got a much bigger wrist than myself and Wiley, you will be able to be accommodated in these leather straps. 44 millimeter case. I tend to think it looks a slight bit larger than that in the all blacked out version. And I would agree with Mason, your son. I like this version.
I think I have the good guy watch and you have the bad guy watch.
Oh, it's like heroes and villains.
It is. I've got the hero watch because that's a good guy watch.
And I'm just Dr. Evil. 287-679-$90 or your first payment of $18.
Both beautiful selections. Now, talking about beautiful selections.
This watch caught my eye in the when they were in the bins when we were getting ready for the show.
What did you like about it? What's the first thing that caught your eye?
I was just so drawn, of course, to that red sunray dial and the matching bezel insert. I just really like that.
In the same way that some major watch companies have used green to get attention, this is in that same vein of not fluorescent color, not in your face. It is truly just a very classic jewel tone that pulls your eye in and you go, oh, I like that. This looks rich. And it does, because you're looking at a $425 watch that when we mark it down to the $300 price point, okay, you've got a great watch. But look what we've done. This could easily be one of those bottom basement prices as well at under $120. When you hold the watch, you realize it's a medium weight. This is not a super heavy watch, but they're all solid links. But it is also not done like with some of the other Bulova bracelets that are so incredibly heavy. 42 millimeter case, and of course the Marine Star. Bulova is known for its dress watches. Well, as the diving watch has become more and more popular as a dress watch, here they've taken that unirotating bezel as well as 100 meters of water resistance, and they've given you a great watch that'll take you from the office out to the beach, out to dinner, or on that cruise you want to go on. And here's what stood out to me for the watch. It's not just the beautiful stainless steel and the pop of red. Look at this little line of gold that's running amongst the silver. It's just running through the bracelet. It's at the screws on the bezel, and then they've went ahead with the pushers and the crown to use that same gold. I think it looks great. Do you like this one?
I do, and with the gold tone being threaded through the bracelet and then just around the crown and pushers, I tend to think that it almost makes it look more like real gold than just gold tone because it's done so subtly. I always like when you see a two-tone timepiece and they have the gold tone, or in my hot pick case, the rose tone. It's just those subtle accents of it that almost keep it looking more like real solid gold.
Well, and this is just that touch that's in there that's not overdone. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes when they decide to throw gold in, you just go, oh, that's a little over the top. Not so with this. This is one I think they've done just such a great job to give us a great luxury watch, a great everyday watch, and we are delighted to be able to offer it to you.
All right, well, we've got something very special to share coming up right now. You guys know in the past about a month or so, we have every show or every other show been airing what you guys have been asking for 3 years plus. Invicta.
I was just talking to some of the folks at the #1 seller of Invicta watches in North America, and you know who that was?
That was us.
I was talking to myself. And I think it's amazing that we have that kind of sales of Invicta. And it was, I mean, some of the first watches as a collector that I found were Invicta watches. I've always been fascinated by them, and you have too. I mean, when we did our survey not too long ago, was it not amazing how many people wanted more Invicta?
Mm-hmm. It's crazy when you go out into the wild. That's what we like to call things outside the confines of the studio.
This compound.
Where they rarely let us venture. But it's funny because I remember when I first started working here, you know, we always talk about on the show, people are always asking, you know, I tell people I sell watches, so people will say, guys will always want to know like the high-end watches that we sell, and women will always ask me, you know, what sort of diamond watches or Michael Kors and such.
Kors.
But people also always ask about, or if I mention it, everybody knows Invicta. And Invicta really does it right, I think. We're able to give you some incredible, incredible prices and amazing value. And as Wiley said, even though he was joking, he was being serious. We here at World of Watches are the largest authorized Invicta dealer in the world. So while other companies, other shows, other places sell Invicta, I mean, I've been on cruises.
There are other shows?
Oh, yes. I've been on a cruise where they sell Invicta on the boats. We here guarantee, and we guarantee, you will not find any watch, but Invicta as well, for less than we have the price. And if you do, we match it. So where else are you going to get an Invicta for $12 down? $12.
There is a lot of watch here. And again, one of the things I love about Invicta is because they love making watches, just like we do, they've put levels of detail and they've put the right weight, the right feel within the watch. They rarely, I guess you can still maybe find, and I hate to say it, you can probably find some watches out there that when you pick them up, you go, oh, that looks, oh, that feels awful.
Oh, yeah.
The look and the feel of the watch do not match up. This is one of the watches that when you get home, you are not going to hesitate to purchase it. Now, Megan, you may or may not know this, but as a watch guy, I have a magic number when it comes to watches like this.
What's that?
And that is if you have a watch that is either has a Swiss movement or Swiss parts, and it happens to have just all of these elements to it, the magic ticket is to find it at $100.
Okay.
Now, that has been for me. Now, that's just a personal thing. I see our wow price right there. That's when I start looking at buying the watch. Because I realize somebody has it on sale out there.
Yeah.
Audience, can you relate to that? That when you see a $300 or $400 item, you know, I know I can find it for less. I know it. Well, my magic number is $100. So if this was under $100, $79, $89, it's a no-brainer. Okay, this is $59.
I know.
I cannot tell you how many Invictas of this similar quality and construction I've paid at that $100 price point. It felt good.
Oh, yeah, of course. It's a great deal.
I can buy two. And you know what? Even with our discount, because Megan and I get a discount on watches, it often is not as good as what we can buy on the program.
Yeah, the show discount is, in a lot of cases, historically a lot lower than even the employee discount we get here.
Well, it's funny because we can go in, fill out all the forms, talk to the executives, submit them, they give us a price, and then we get on our phones and call the same number you do and order the watches. Am I telling a lie here?
No.
Back me up. Folks, we are delighted to be able to have this Invicta at such an incredible price. Let me throw it on the wrist real quick. You need to see how it looks.
Looks nice with your shirt.
This
I
is
love when guys
perfect.
have watches with blue in them because I'm sure you can relate to this. Well, obviously you have blue in your shirt. Blue seems to be that color that in men's dress shirts, I think in all of my boyfriend's dress shirts, he maybe has one or two that don't have accents of blue in them. And so to wear something on the wrist that it's all silver tone, easy, but then you've got that pop of blue. How nice it pulls out the blue in a shirt or in your pair of blue jeans. Or aren't you tired every now and then of looking down at a silver dial with a silver tone case or a black dial? I mean, it's great to have those safety watches. I'm wearing a safety watch. But it's sometimes nice to have a little bit of color on the wrist. And so for you gentlemen out there, obviously blue is really a no-brainer. And this with the price and the stress-free payments, that is with free shipping. So that price, what you see there, that is what you pay. And then we will actually charge your credit card in the next 4 months after today's first charge. And so you never have to do anything. You don't ever have to worry about it again. It is easy. take care of your shopping now, so that way in a month from now or a month and a half from now, right before the holiday really start, you've already got pretty much everything on payments or paid off.
You know, you have a reliable Japanese movement within this watch. You have 100 meters of water resistance. You have a flame fusion crystal. It's a 45 millimeter case. The watch has the feel and the construction that you're really going to appreciate. It has that pry apart single scissor deployant. All of this for under $60. This is a watch you have to make no apologies about. There's some watches, if you bought them at an ultra bargain, you might go, this is my new watch, sorry. You almost want to feel like you have to apologize. Not with this watch. You're going to be completely confident wearing it, and they're going to think you paid a whole lot more. And if you got it somewhere else, you probably did. So please consider this watch for your collection. It's 142318, and it makes a great gift, whether for yourself or someone else. Remember, the holidays aren't too far off. We're not going to pressure you, but we're going to give you free shipping, and you have all those stress-free payments.
Yeah, don't ruin Christmas. We're not going to pressure you, but don't ruin Christmas.
It's all on you.
287-721. We've got two variations of the 45 millimeter Murano to show you. So let's take a close-up tour, shall we, around this beautiful rose tone variation, and then Wiley will strap on the second variation that we've got. I've been calling this show almost like an optical illusion, because when you look into the multi-level, multi-texture dial, there's just so much going on that's really quite exquisite here. Now notice on this black and rose timepiece, which of course, if you've watched the show before, you know I always talk about how that is one of my all-time favorite color combos. I love the richness and the warmth of the rose tone, and the way black just matches so beautifully with it. Coming in nice and close on the dial, here's the superstar. Look at this gorgeous texture. You've got a black textured backdrop. Notice that, almost that horizontal striping. Almost like if you were looking into the decoration you would see in an automatic movement. You've got multi-levels there that are applied over that black dial backdrop. You've got a 2-eye chronograph configuration here, but really, once I start the chronograph and that red hand begins to make its way around the dial, it's really the 9 o'clock subdial that keeps the time for the chrono, because that can time something for up to 60 minutes. You get an hour there. That little 3 o'clock subdial, we call that the AM/PM indicator. Now watch what just happened here. I'm starting the chronograph, and I stop the chronograph. Now traditionally, with the movements that we've used in-house here with Lucien Piccard and some of our other company-owned brands, you'll notice that once I reset the chronograph, the hand moves all the way around the dial to reset. But did you notice what happened here when I reset? It snaps back. This timepiece right here is using the VK64A Japanese chronograph quartz movement. This particular caliber of movement with the snapback chrono, we have never used before. And here it is for the first time. So not only are you getting something with a very cool, very edgy style inside the dial, but very classic all the way around the timepiece, you are also getting an all-new Japanese chronograph movement with the snapback complication that we've never seen before. All 316L surgical grade steel with 18 karat rose tone over that. A Croco embossed genuine leather strap. Check out the closure. All new customized closures. We're not giving you buckles anymore. We are giving you pry apart dual deployant clasps on there. You can see your screwed down case back, which protects that Japanese movement, but we also give you 5-year warranty on that. And one last look at this exquisite black and rose dial, which I think is stunning. 287-721. It's $120, but I'm always going to tell you to do the payments. $24 down, it ships.
And you know, even though it is a dress watch, there is 50 meters of water resistance. So if you do get caught in the rain or pushed in the pool, you're still getting a great looking watch. It's going to hold up. Now, take a peek. This is, I think, a better variation. Oh, you're going to make me compare and contrast, aren't you? Which one do you like better? You have this one and then this one.
I think this one's going to be more popular.
I think this is a very, very dressy watch, but there is something very sophisticated about this color combination. Now, I do like the one that you were showing. I think this, however, has a look that is reminiscent of a very high-end designer. And, of course, we are a high-end designer with Lucien Piccard, but there is another fashion plate out there that uses a similar stridation that's almost like this Venetian blind kind of style. And it really allows you to see the texture within that dial. Can you see that? Look at that outer chapter ring, the hour indices that kind of almost look recessed, and then you have the 12 and the 6 that really stand out in the Arabic numerals. Of course, exactly what you were talking about with that reliable Japanese movement, the simple hit of that pusher at the 2 o'clock position is going to start our chronograph. Now, normally with a quartz movement, if you were to stop it and then do the reset requires it to go all the way around the dial. That's what you would find in a quartz movement. But because of this particular movement, when you hit it, it's going to snap back like an automatic. It makes the watch look much more expensive, and it takes a little less time. Of course, if you need to do an instant reset for it to go back to the 12 instead of circling all the way around. 45mm case looks great. You can see exactly what you were talking about with that Croco embossed leather. It looks fantastic, and the fact this is all under $120. I love how three-dimensional all of this looks. It's not flat. $24 gets it home. That's your first of 5 stress-free, interest-free payments. I think this is a great dress watch, and one that whether you're buying it for yourself or a gift for someone you care about, they're really going to appreciate your style and your selection. 287723, that's the number to get this watch home. And of course, there is always free shipping, and if you have to, money back guarantee.
288304. We touched on this lightly during our preview, but we're going to show you 3 variations of the newer, I shouldn't say brand new, but it's only about 2 months old, the 50mm Jetstream. It's funny because we have so many amazing watches coming out every week from all of our own brands that things that are only a month or 2 old are already not as new as things that we have every show. So it's really quite exciting. There's something for everyone, at least one thing for everyone.
You know, when we were visiting with Niso the other day, he said, you need to come by the office every day. And I thought, well, that was very kind. He said, because...
He said I was talking to Megan. No.
That's endless Megan Harris. He said, you know what? He said, every single day there is something new in this shop. There is a new prototype coming in, a new dial design, a new strap design. He said every day it's something new. And he's like a kid in a candy store because they've spent all this time designing, and now everything is coming home to roost, and hopefully it means coming home to you soon, which is why we're presenting things like Redline with these beautiful 3 selections. Now, I happen to like the one that I'm holding. Both of the other configurations look great. Slight variation in each. Now, the number is for the one in hand. If you see the number change, it'll be dependent on which one we're holding. Now, just like Megan was talking about, it looks like it's just a single crown on this watch. Take a look at the side and you'll realize there is 2 more recessed crowns that literally build right into the side of the watch. But to keep the external look of the watch very jet streamed, they've done this to make it very, very smooth and fluid. The only crown, of course, is the red on this particular variation, and that's going to operate this particular movement within the watch. Just as you had said earlier, there are 3 distinct movements in the watch. This one's a 3-hand configuration, hour, minute, continuously operating sweep hand. Then you have 2 additional time zones that are operated by the hidden crowns. The 2 and 3 subdials is the caliber the 5Y20, and the main time zone, which is going to be right here, is going to be the caliber 2035. These are going to be excellent. Each one is going to have their own 5-year warranty. That is incredible. And you know these Japanese movements are going to be reliable and accurate to within 10 to 15 seconds per month, just like every quartz movement out there. So you can feel very comfortable about what's inside the watch. Now, which variation would you like to go to next? Which one do you want to see? Because we certainly have the... Oh, you want to go over here? All right, here we go. We're
Why don't you try that one on? It's going to look cool with your shirt.
You know, that's the problem. because I immediately want to say, oh, 50 millimeters, this is going to be way too big, it's not for me, blah, 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 and now it's going to look great. Yeah, that looks good. I just love the fact, because I have a watch that I wore last night that has two movements in it. It's a dual time zone, and they kind of sit catty-corner to each other, and it always gets attention because people aren't used to seeing that. How often do you see a watch with 3 complete movements that are easy to read? You notice the oversized hands on the watch make it easy to read even at a distance? Now, I love that, because often when you have smaller subdials, it's like you're looking at a chronograph. Oh, that's tiny. What time is it in, Micronesia, apparently? But not with this one. Again, look at those hidden crowns. I like this watch. Do you have a variation you like better?
I really like seeing this with the blue. It's funny that you mentioned you liked the first variation that was all gunmetal, because I happen to like this. I appreciate, and you can see it with all of them, but I like that the black ionic plating has been done in a matte bead blasted finish. So these watches, as with all Redline watches, are meant to have the appearance of looking inside a high-end sports car, looking at the speedometer. So I like these pieces almost simulating the look of titanium. Here, I'm going to try on one actually. I just want to try on, I'm going to try on this last one, which had the gunmetal. It's got the pops of almost a fiery orange. It's not quite red, but it's more orange than it is red.
Oh, I like that one.
I like this one too. This one looks perhaps the most racing inspired because of that color. I like the all black with the blue that you tried on. But here is a third variation. They're all 50 millimeters. They all have 3 independent time zones in them. And what's nice is for the comfort level, they didn't give you 3 crazy crowns. To show you what Wiley was talking about, look at these recessed crowns right here for your subdials 2 and 3, your time zones 2 and 3. Now to remind you, caliber 2035, that is a Japanese chronograph movement right here. And then this is the caliber 5Y20 for the 2 smaller. Japanese movements inside, very reliable, very, very durable. Look at that matte finishing with the gunmetal. Sorry, I don't know what's going on my table there. All that gunmetal finishing looks really, really cool. $20 gets it home. That's it. $20 for a watch that has 3 time zones in it. And as Wiley said, each time zone or each little movement inside, because there are 3 movements, gets its own 5-year warranty. 288-308, the Jetstream from Redline.
They just asked me which one would I like to present, and I'm going, oh, obviously the gold. And then I saw the other one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give this one to you.
Okay. I actually like this one a lot. The Maurice Lacroix Miros collection has always been one of my favorites, especially because I am at a phase where I am buying watches, not just for myself, but for people that I'm very close to, some significant other and loved ones. But especially when it pertains to myself, I am trying to add value to my watch collection. So I've been buying more Swiss-made, more higher-end watches. And what I like so much about the Miros collection with our pricing on the shows is this is truly affordable luxury. Because at a watch that retails for nearly $1,600, you can get it home for under $500. And if you can spend $90 a month, you can afford this watch. It's like when you were talking about what really does it for you with a watch is when you can get something for about $100 or less. Well, assuming you bought one watch a month, you could use payments and buy a $1,600 Swiss-made watch. Now, of the 2 variations, this is definitely the dressier model. This is the one that I would go for, and you'll know why when you see Wiley's in a moment. It's a 40 millimeter, 3-hand ETA quartz chronograph movement inside, so Swiss-made movement inside a Swiss-made watch. The 2-tone, while it is gold tone, is very, very high quality. They use multiple passes of 18 karat gold on the bracelet and around the bezel. And because it's a Swiss-made Maurice Lacroix, most people, myself included, are going to assume that this watch is solid gold. So you save a little bit more that way. Because when we show the solid gold Maurice Lacroix watches, they're about $16,000, not $1,600. So this is affordable luxury through and through. 286-496. It's a 40 millimeter, but it will wear a touch larger on the wrist.
Okay, I like that watch, but then I saw this. This particular variation also qualifies for the, and it seems to be a lot of Maurice Lacroix that do this, if you only had to have one watch.
Yep.
Because this is just, I don't know what it is. There is a classic look to it. Look how ultra thin the watch is. I mean, there is just nothing to that watch, yet there is a weight and feel to it that you know that this is quality. The moment I pick this up, I mean, here you have the dual push button, dual scissor deployant in the back. The fit and finish all the way around is incredible. The watch on the wrist just looks great. Look at that. Now, when I turn this toward the table so it reflects the light, look at that high mirror polish on all the Arabic numerals, the hour indices, the hands of the watch, including the sweep hand. You happen to have not just that three-hand configuration, but a date complication at the 3 o'clock position, all Swiss made, sapphire crystal. This watch is going to look incredible for years. You have $1,100 off the retail price. And the ETA movement that's in here, the three-hand movement, you know you're getting one of the cream of the crop movements that's going to be incredibly accurate and incredibly reliable. I mean, and the fact that it's a quartz movement in this watch, all Swiss made, I mean, it's going to be accurate to within 10 seconds per month. I mean, you're going to have to buy a much larger Bulova. It's actually, some of them at a higher price point than this, to get one that's going to be accurate to within 10 seconds per year. I love this watch. I mean, I really, really do.
I think it's one of the best values, especially Swiss made. I love that we're dipping into our second hour already, because remember, next hour, in just a few moments, every single item is going to be Swiss made.
Oh, folks, if you're not calling, just go ahead and call right now. Just go ahead and call, because when you see this watch, it's going to be, yep, this is an ice.
I learned in our, sorry for interrupting, I learned in our brand meeting that this watch right here, right now, is one of the best-selling new Lucien Piccard collections. Think about all the crazy Lucien Piccard watches that we've recently debuted, the one that you purchased for yourself, some of the ones that had the automatic movements and stuff, and this collection right now on our website is flying off the shelves. Flying. That's what we learned in our COB meeting.
I'm glad you got to go to that meeting. I was in a timeout. They wouldn't let me go.
I love that I said I would take notes and pictures for you, and then I didn't.
Did
do
you?
Either. No.
How did you? Megan.
I know.
How will I learn anything here? I think this watch is truly beautiful.
Yeah, it really is.
When you look at this custom, almost Panther-style bracelet, the way it is interlinked, I mean, it is flawless in its execution. Come in even closer. I want them to see this, because I want them to just get a look. This is truly...
I would wear a bracelet that looked just like that.
This is the Yellow Brick Road. And when you see that it leads right in flawlessly to that end link that mates up to the case, this watch, I just feel like if I was in 1930 and I had a Bugatti and I was being chauffeured around town in my beautiful opera coupe, this is the watch you would want to get out and wear. And you would be right there.
I was just about to say, I better be with you.
You will be with me. And your boyfriend will be a gangster behind me and machine gun me down. And that's how the movie ends. It's really very sad for me.
It's really more of a dramedy.
He is a big man. Have you seen the man? He's what, like 6'12" or something?
It's close.
Folks, this watch I think is absolutely gorgeous. It is selling exactly like Megan said, that several of these a day, you have to realize we have thousands of watches, and of this particular watch, several a day are leaving the factory, leaving shipping, because it has just been at a price point, it hits a magic ticket somewhere in there that people just identify with this beautiful 44mm case, the watch design itself. I love how this looks like old school, the V8 symbol for high-end V8 automobiles of the 30s and 40s. And for watch collectors and automobile collectors, they'll appreciate that. The VD77 Japanese movement inside really is also going to be reliable and accurate.
Look at how unique the links are. How they're a little bit wider than the bracelet itself. Isn't that cool?
Oh, I think it's
We've never done a case
style
construction
design
like that. Yeah, but I love the way the lugs are a little bit thicker. It almost looks like they're T-bar style lugs, but not quite. the bracelet, I mean, it's hard to pick a favorite area of this watch because the dial is so cool. The bracelet looks like a high-end solid gold bracelet. I mean, I would wear the bracelet. It's just the way they've done the sub-dials in this because, you know, at the 12 o'clock position, that smaller sub-dial, it's actually a three-hand movement. It's not a chronograph. That's the AM, PM indicator. So it's pointing to what would be a 10 to show you that the currently displayed hours is AM, not PM.
One of the things I appreciate, and I think you brought out that design element, you notice there is a step-style bezel on here. Well, they've done that same sort of step down to match up with the bracelet. So you're just seeing just variations in not just shape and size, but in dimension of the watch. And I think it just adds visual interest to it. You notice all the way down to the pry apart dual deployant. They've still used that gold plating on here. Sometimes we see this in silver and we might see a little decoration, but they went ahead and used that gold plating. I think it looks great. Let me slip this on the wrist. You can tell me what you think. Oh yeah, I'd wear this instantly. The black goes with my shirt. You can see that record design on the center part of the dial. It has grooves in it. And take a peek. What do you think?
I think it's gorgeous. I really, really think that this watch is gorgeous. And we have so many different color variations to choose from on our website. We've got one that's all silver tone with a little pop of blue in it. I mean, there's some truly exquisite watches. 289-533, that's the 44mm Polaris with a 5-year warranty. Our proprietary Sapphitech crystal. You can get all of this home for your first payment of $26. Now, the stress-free payments are, of course, optional. You don't have to. If you want to put $130 down on any major credit card, great, good for you. It's just a nice way for, and I think I see it sometimes more with our really expensive, like your hot pick. If you can't put out, you know, nearly $6,000, but you can put out just under $1,000 a month. You know, I mean, of course, it's different levels for everyone. I like that. I think that it allows more people, myself included. I've been able to get some higher end, more expensive watches by using the stress-free payments than maybe I would have been able to do before.
Well, and sometimes if you put that stress-free payment on a credit card, you can pay that off at the end of the month. And since you're not holding the whole balance, you can do it without paying interest.
Exactly.
So if you have a second or third credit card, there's no balance on there, and let's say the payment's only $100 a month, instead of putting a $500-$600 piece on there, it's only $100. Easier to pay off, no interest.
Strategy.
Oh, you better believe it.
All right, well, we're here in our second hour. This is our Swiss-made hour. So we're talking luxury. This will perhaps be the hour where you will see the biggest amount of savings dollar-wise. We're going to show you items that are thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. We love this hour because even if you're not shopping for an item, I saw what you've got on your wrist. Even if you're not shopping for a Swiss-made watch right now, this is also a great hour to learn a little bit more because we'll be able to spend more time going into some complexities about what makes a Swiss-made watch, about the movements inside. So it's kind of a collector's hour, so to speak, but it's also the hour where if you've been saving up or if you've been waiting to really get that one nice watch, whether for yourself, a loved one, the Swiss-made hour coming up right now is definitely a good one to do it. And everything's still on 5 and 6 stress-free payments. So let's jump into a preview. We're going to dive head first into our Swiss-made hour.
Ooh, the House of Gucci. You've got to love this. I don't think I've seen this in a while. This is the 45mm G Timeless XL. This is a beautiful watch. We've had other variations of this. It's very rare that we get Gucci in, and to be able to have such a recognized designer at this price point is phenomenal. Look at the price, $1,190. Now, for those folks who've bought it, whether from our website or others who may get to come close to the wow price of $828, you know you've made some significant savings. But look at the program, less than half of what the watch should sell for. Now, here's the secret in the watch world. If you see a retail price, it usually means the cost of the watch, the true cost, is half of what you're seeing. It's a $1,000 watch. It means the true cost is $500, and the other $500 makes up for all the other folks who are selling it, the cost of overhead, and so forth. This watch should sell for $550, $560, $575, somewhere in there. That's what a jeweler would pay for it, and then he's allowed to put his markup unless it's price protected. Then he has to go with the price assigned by the manufacturer. Here, we're well below that. Even if you were a jeweler, you couldn't get the watch for $499, but you can with us, and only $100 gets it home. So can't wait to show you that one in just a little bit.
Coming up right behind that, this is that watch that doesn't just talk the talk, it's walking too. 285-611, this is the 44mm Deep Diver 1500 series. This features the Swiss-made ETA 2826 automatic movement inside. It's got 500 meters of water resistance, an automatic helium escape valve, and that modified to no-shape case because it's squat and has that big movement inside, not to mention the oversized locking crown guard. It's going to wear even larger on the wrist. This is a watch that has presence, but it's also a watch that is a professional dive instrument. Not even a dive-capable watch. This is a true dive instrument. It's $2,000, and you better believe it's worth every penny of that. We've taken more than 50% off the price and pay it off in 6 months. As a company that is not a bank or a lending firm, we can legally only give up to 6 interest-free monthly payments. So on a watch that's this expensive, the fact that we've maxed it out is benefit enough for you to at least try it out. 285-611.
The watch I hadn't hoped that they would notice I was wearing, but I can't help but show it off, is the Parallel. And this 44mm turbine limited edition piece is absolutely gorgeous. Yes, you are seeing a front rotor on that beautiful sapphire covered dial. And if we were to rotate the watch just a bit, you'll notice something very unique underneath, and that is a highly decorated mother of pearl, black mother of pearl snake dial. It is so cool, and I want this watch. The black genuine alligator strap is incredible, and of course the diamond-like carbon coating case is incredible. That DLC coating is going to keep that watch looking fantastic for generations to come. One of the most scratch-resistant way of presenting a case, but also that sapphire crystal, both front and back, is also great in there. The P331 in-house movement is stunning, both from the front and the back. Can't wait to show you this almost nearly $9,000 watch, coming up to you. And I have to tell you, everything that's coming up during this hour is going to be all Swiss made. Now, of course, you're looking at this going, well, of course, you're showing me a $9,000 watch. Of course it's Swiss made. There's no way I can afford some of your other Swiss made stuff. But Megan is going to make sure she's taking care of you, because I'll take care of all the high-end stuff.
Yeah, I'm a woman of the people, ladies and gentlemen. But let's tell people for a moment, before we get into this hour, what it means to be a Swiss-made watch. Because you might have a watch at home that has a Swiss-made movement inside. But you'll notice when we have a Swiss-made watch that it's even more expensive. So for the uninitiated out there, we'll explain to you a little bit about a Swiss-made watch. And we'll do this together. So a Swiss-made watch has to meet a certain number of criteria in order to be a Swiss-made watch. And believe it or not, there are a lot of guidelines and rules, as we know, that actually get to the point where a watch can say Swiss-made at that 6 o'clock position. The first one being, it has to have a Swiss-made movement. The second one is?
Well, at least 60%. It used to be 50, but they've raised the standard even higher, that at least 60% of the value of that watch, that's the content and the quality of the watch, 60% of it has to be of Swiss origin. Then you have to have that Swiss movement inside.
And then it has to be actually assembled and packaged together in Switzerland. You might not know this, but sometimes watches that are Swiss-made, the movements, if it's not a Swiss-made watch, it might be assembled and put together in China, Japan, somewhere like that. But in order to be a Swiss-made watch, they have to take all of that and actually put it together in Swiss factories. And then fourth and finally, it has to pass all of the guidelines as set by the Swiss Federation.
that has to have that final inspection in Switzerland. So when you pick up that Swiss watch, you know that at least 60% of its content, quality, and construction, you know that it has a Swiss movement. You know that that movement had to be placed inside that case, which means the labor to assembly was all Swiss. Then the final inspection to ensure it meets the highest quality and standard has to be put on it. Then at the 6 o'clock position, it can have the words Swiss made. If you have that in your hands, somebody spent a lot of money to do that. But it doesn't have to cost you a lot of money, because look at this incredible Swiss Legend watch.
Right there, you can see the word Swiss made. So with all of that we've told you, you're probably thinking, well, how much can this watch possibly be? Check that out, $180. I know I've said this before, but it is very, very true. And those on crew here who have been here for about a year or so can attest to this along with me. We found out last year in 2014, or actually at the end of 2013, that by 2016, Swiss Legend was going to be an entirely Swiss-made brand. So, for the better part of 2014 and the first half of this year before we started rolling out our Swiss-made watches, we were always saying, on the shows I was saying it, be prepared for when we transition to Swiss-made watches that the price is going to go up dramatically. I mean, imagine what we would have thought. You know, the watches are great at $80, $100, but they're going to be $300, $400 because they're Swiss made. It costs our company a lot more money to buy the pieces, to assemble them in Switzerland, and so forth. Imagine our surprise and our excitement for you at home and for ourselves, because we're obviously consumers, just like you guys are. We wear all these watches, that we're able to bring out Swiss-made watches and the price is under $200. It is not normal. It's unheard of. And yet we are doing it, and we are proof that every single bit of quality you get here is worth 5 times the price you're going to pay. You've got...
You can tell them secrets?
Yes.
You know, one of the things we found out, we were amazed when Niso was here, that we used to think, and this is maybe just us, maybe romanticizing, that in Switzerland there's hundreds of little tiny Swiss shops cobbling away movements.
Yep, like I pictured in my mind, like one says Tag Heuer, and then it's Omega, and then it's this, and then it's this. That's not the case.
Our movement, this movement in this watch, could have been sitting right next to, identical to, a movement in another high-end, well-known brand. Now, we understand Swiss Legend is its own brand, and it is well-known, but we've not put the price point out the roof.
Yep.
And some people have, and they've become famous for that. But they have the same movement, the same innards.
It's so crazy. It is really cool, because that's what Wiley and I learned, is we actually, incorrectly thought that there must be all these different factories, As it turns out, there are only a handful where all the Swiss-made watches in the world are assembled and put together. So, some of your favorite Swiss-made watches are being assembled right next to Swiss Legend. And so it's a very cool thing to know and to think about, that we are right there, right now, with that same level of quality, but we are not increasing the price. And I appreciate that, because I want to be able to buy nice things and be able to make my rent every month. So it's really great that we're able to do that. I went with the 42 millimeter Blue Genève.
That's
this
beautiful.
watch comes in 4 different sizes on our website: 38, 42, 46, 48. I love the 42 because I wanted something a little bit bigger. I love, love, love the ceramic bezel insert, because the ceramic bezel insert, that gorgeous, almost pearlescent look, matches the mother of pearl on the outer edge of that dial. When we show you this close-up, there you go. Now check this out. Here's that dodecagon shape to the bezel and shape to the case. Almost has that Hublot or Quorum-inspired design to it. Gorgeous, just stunning. Two-tone, but we have many different variations. I went with the two-tone today. I love the rose and the silver tone and the mother of pearl. This is a watch that I intend to own. And what's great is we actually have this watch not just in 4 different sizes, but we also have some in the smaller sizes on silicone straps. Because these are 200 meters of water resistance, it's a dive watch. This is the watch that, in this bracelet variation, I'm going to wear it with a sweater to the office, but you can buy the silicone strap variation and wear it to the gym, to the beach. Now, I want you to see a medium shot so you can see how this looks on the wrist just a little bit farther back. Look at that. Full size at 42 millimeters, but no gapping, no spacing. It doesn't look like I'm trying to fit into a men's watch or a watch that's so big and bulky it kind of looks ridiculous. This looks like it was made for me. And at $36 down, try it out. Now again, we will show you some other sizes for you gentlemen out there, or for you ladies that are looking and liking, and maybe you want to own something else. But for now, my hot pick, I went with this one, the Blue Genève, all new in the 42 millimeter. 287-844, 5 payments of $36.
Absolutely beautiful, and what an incredible price point.
Now let's show you what Swiss Made really costs.
Now, certainly, this is a different timepiece all the way around.
Absolutely. Of course, and it's worth it.
Well, when you consider, I mean, if you just do the pricing of each individual part in here, there's 450 parts within this watch. And when you realize it is all levers and gears and springs and clutches inside this watch that's making it so that it has become this exquisite, fully functioning, three-hand, almost perpetual calendar. Because, I mean, the thing does not have to be adjusted except once every leap year. Okay, look at the watch just for a moment. Realize that you have a 43 millimeter case. You have a complete calendar within the watch. Each subdial has 2 hands and performs 2 functions. You have an AM/PM indicator. You have a fully functioning chronograph, and that B19 movement, which is a 38 joule automatic with 42 hours of power reserve, is able to do all of this all the way down to giving you the month, the day, the year. I mean, all of this, and it doesn't have to be reset to every 4 years. Start, stop, and there's your reset right there. Notice how that snaps into place. You can see that beautiful sapphire crystal. It looks like Hesalite, which was a form of plastic that was used years ago with very old watches. Not so with this one. That's all sapphire. So don't worry that that's raised above the case. You have that beautiful mesh bracelet that is adjustable all the way down to the links that can be removed. Now, as I pop this open, I want you to see this on the wrist and realize that this is just the right size, whether for a gentleman or a lady. 43 millimeter case. Look at that. I think this is one of the most beautiful bracelets out there. And it's one of the watches that you're going to love. This is a pinnacle piece. We realize that. It's $10,000. Now, at the wow price of $8,000, you're saving $2,000 off the retail price. That 20% savings is something to be proud of. But look, as we drop this down with 45, 47, 48% off the retail price, $57.79 is the price. This is amazing. And they've put it at 6 stress-free, interest-free payments. $963.33. That's your first of 6 payments. No interest on that. 450 parts in this all Swiss-made, beautiful pinnacle piece by Breitling. Brand new in the box, all of the guarantee, all of the paperwork, everything that you're looking for. Don't let this one get away from you. They're both absolutely gorgeous. Now, shifting gears just for a moment to a Swiss-made watch. I want you to look at this beautiful 48 millimeter Blue Genève, the chronograph. And I have to tell you, this watch feels like $1 million. I mean, picking it up, it feels like I just picked up one of the high-end timepieces. Now, both you and I have made this comment over and over. When you pick up a watch, you can often tell its value. You can start to see, how it, what kind of quality is within it, because you know that they have done a great job. Now, the ISA 8371 movement in here, this is the one that's taken 5 years for them to develop. Isn't that amazing?
We're one of the first brands here with Swiss Legend and the Blue Genève to even have this ISA movement in a timepiece. That's so exciting to me.
Well,
because now it's showing Swiss Legend. We are up there with everybody else that can compete to get these high-end movements.
And they were looking at a way to make the movement more accurate, which means less stress, less friction within the movement, how to make it more durable, more shock resistant. It's all the things that you need for an active lifestyle. You know, we marveled that the coaxial escapement that's within the Omega, that no one had done that before. 150 years of watchmaking, and they just, they had not in any way, shape, or form, did any upgrades. Now, I want you to see there is a lot of variations of this watch.
Oh, we've got actually 3 variations.
Oh, more than you can imagine. Oh, that's pretty. Sorry, I got distracted by bright and shiny colors. And that was just Jenny. That girl's got some bling on. She looks good. All right, let's take a peek at this next variation. She's fanning herself now.
She's like, oh my God, Wiley.
All right. She needs to get out more. All right.
So you were talking about the
blue.
movements.
I was looking, I'm now distracted by the color.
He's such a man. It's like, look, squirrel.
I can't help it, short attention span. The movement in the watch, just we were talking about Omega, it took them so long to finally decide, in a bad way, let's make this better.
Yep.
The fact that the ISA group decided that they could make a movement better. Okay, it's hard working, it's reliable. What do you need to do different? Let's make it better. Let's find a way to make it more accurate. Let's find a way to make it more dependable. Let's find a way that it has the ability to have greater adaptability to other functions as we maybe take that movement and customize it. And we're one of the first ones to get it. So, yeah, go ahead and buy somebody else's watch and have their old ISA movement in there.
How embarrassing.
No. You wouldn't want to be caught dead with that. If you are a watch nerd, or you know somebody that's a watch nerd like Megan and I, being able
Lucky
to,
you.
yeah, I'm about to say, then you're able to let them know you've got the latest and greatest movement from ISA, and I think that's incredible.
Quickly, I want us to move on to the 3rd variation of this because I love the blue, and I think that it's kind of that niche color, if you will, if you've got some blue on. But this 3rd, like that targeted, you know what it means, right?
Like a niche art.
I say niche.
Niche, do you?
But this one right here.
When you wear your Umpire waist dress?
This one right here, I like this one. This one, to me, of the 3, might have the most expensive look to it.
I like both of them.
All 3, you should say.
Well, yes. I think the black is nice.
That's the silver tone and black. That's the first one we wear.
I think the blue really stands out. But I'm going to go ahead and...
This is just gorgeous to me.
This is it.
Look at the rose, how they've done just the subtle accents. And you know what's amazing is this is my hot pick in the 48 millimeter size. Now again, gentlemen, we do have a 46 millimeter, but it's a 3-hand. If you want the chronograph, it's the 48 millimeter. And this is that all new ISA movement inside.
This is absolutely gorgeous. It's one of the watches that, again, I can't believe this is under $200. It really does look great.
Look at that dodecagon bezel and case again, that geometric bezel done in the rose. I love the 2-piece pushers and how you've got the knurling around there. Just the detail work. Do you notice how the knurling matches the texture on the center chapter of the dial?
Yeah, it does.
And they didn't do like the exact same watch for men and women. This watch does not have mother of pearl on it. The texturing is different. The pushers are different. So each size almost has something special for that targeted collection offshoot. All 200 meters of water resistance though, all Swiss-made watches. ISA 8371 gets a 5-year warranty, and then you get a warranty on the Sapphitech crystal, which we don't talk about enough. Our proprietary sapphire-like crystal, the one you see right here on this watch, has a 10-year warranty against scratching. So that sapphire-like crystal with the ceramic bezel insert, you'd be hard-pressed to find anything that could mess up or scratch your crystal. So it's always going to look brand new.
Get me a piece of sandpaper. Oof. Can we get sandpaper and do that?
No. That just like makes the hair on my arm stand up.
Oh, chalkboard. This is, again, congratulations to all of you who are picking this up. You're getting a beautiful timepiece and at just the right time as the holidays are beginning to creep up on us.
243-689, let's go to Gucci. Yes, of course, one of the fashion powerhouses of the world makes timepieces. And, of course, you know, even if it's Italian design, you are getting a Swiss-made watch. Now, this watch is lightweight, it is sporty, it is cool, it is easy to wear, and even though it's 45 millimeters, I think the style in that kind of design is unisex. You know, there's I can't pronounce it quite well, but it's called like athleisure. It's wearing athletic clothes in a trendy, almost dressed up way.
You have so left my field of expertise.
Okay, so for example, women out there, I am the kind of person that when I'm not here, athleisure.
I was diagnosed with athleisure once.
Basically what it is it's when you wear your play clothes, your gym clothes, your sport clothes, but they're a little bit more high-end. Stella McCartney, for example, makes a line of gym clothes. Lululemon, a lot of women wear Lululemon. It's high-quality gym clothes that, yes, you could wear to the yoga or spin studio, but some of it's so nice. I mean, I find that I wear some of my nicer athletic clothes even just when I'm running errands or when I'm not necessarily going right to the gym. That's what this watch is. It's got that high-fashion, sporty look, but it's still high fashion, so you can dress it, I think, kind of up.
Gentlemen, if you would like translation on that, this is casual luxury. It means it can be very relaxed or very dressed up. Gentlemen, do not wear yoga pants.
No.
You know, the House of Gucci since 1921 has been doing great fashion. Never has it been in yoga pants. But they have decided to try their hand at a three-hand, and this is a beautiful example of that. Now, of course, it is a bit more casual with this strap that is on the watch, and it is in the Gucci design, that three-stripe pattern, which is usually a lighter color in the center part of the stripe, and then two outer stripes, is a classic Gucci design. In this 45-millimeter case, it is stunning to see this watch, all Swiss-made. And of course, you can even see my fingerprint right there. A little gift to send home to the people. Please. I can't help it. I think the watch really is beautiful and is exactly what Megan is saying. This is the watch that if you decided you're going to wear blue jeans or yoga pants and you're going to head out to, to walk your Afghan down by the river, and then you decide to head out to a luxurious event, the watch is going to carry you, and the strap can be changed out if you wanted to put, Megan, if you were to put a leather strap on this watch, it would suddenly change the entire look.
Absolutely.
But this is a great opportunity to get a $1,200 watch for just a fraction of the price. For $499, you're getting a $1,200 watch, and only $100 gets it home. That's your first of 5 stress-free, interest-free payments. Let me slip this on the wrist real quick, and then I want Megan to try this on, because I happen to know a secret about Megan. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
You happen to, this is true. Well, which one do you want me to go with?
Yeah, I don't know where this is going.
Are you afraid yet?
I am a little bit.
Okay. Every single time we have had a watch that has had a nylon
yes.
or one of the more casual straps, I'm immediately thinking you're going to want one of the jewelry pieces. It's one of the things I appreciate about you is you're a lot of fun.
No, yeah.
And when you ever, I don't care what everyone else says, but every time that there has been one of the
nylon straps.
Yes.
I love them.
Whether it's on Ben & Sons or we have some Nixon watches that have, the most casual looking bracelets.
I love them.
Or straps. And here's a watch. Again, it is that super casual, but it's on a Gucci, and it's in Gucci style. I would wear this. I would have to wear the right stuff with it. But, I would wear this.
Yeah, you can't borrow my yoga pants.
I will borrow your yoga pants.
I want to try this on.
Do you want to see it?
Yes, please. You know what's nice about this nylon strap, though, too, is, and I'll show you, on the little holes, like where you would put the buckle through.
They're finished.
Yeah, they're finished with stainless steel. So it's not like it's going to fall apart. Even the edges, you're not going to have to worry about this nylon strap
high-end. It's Gucci, for heaven's sake.
Yeah, of course. We expect those things. But even sometimes on super high-end, expensive watches, sometimes I'm sure you notice some brands, they'll forget something, and we're thinking, well, okay.
How did you manage that?
This is awkward. So, no, this is a perfect fit. We're going to get a close-up shot of this.
Would you wear this?
Absolutely, I would wear this.
How much would you pay?
I would pay what I would use the stress-free payments in this case. I think that the retail price of this is a little expensive. Now, obviously, it's Gucci. It's a Swiss-made watch. Their handbags are quite expensive, and their shoes and all of their clothing.
But you know what it's like when you go to the mall? You can pick up a pair of jeans or a suit or whatever it is, and you can look at the retail price and go, oh, I'm waiting for the 50% off sale.
Absolutely.
But you know that somebody paid full price, just
not you or
I.
Lots of people do. This is a bestseller watch. Unidirectional rotating bezel, super comfortable there. $500. So think about this. When Wiley and I are talking about that, you're at that department store with Wiley and I right now. You are getting Gucci for more than 50% off and on payments. So when you go into that department store and they say, oh, would you like to open a friends and family credit card? You can save an additional 10%. You don't have to open a World of Watches credit card. In fact, that doesn't even exist. Our stress-free payment plan is your option using a credit card currently in your name, in your possession. So you don't ever have to worry that maybe our payment plan is like a store credit card or those department stores where you end up having to pay so much money in interest. What you see is what you pay, and we are always very transparent about this. 45 millimeters on my 6-inch wrist. Even though it's stainless steel, it's super lightweight. It's very, very easy to wear. I have it on the tightest closure, and you can see here that strap length is quite generous. 243-689, the 45 millimeter G Timeless, $500, but you know the way I'd go, $100 a month. Imagine that. If you can afford $100 a month, you can buy this $1,200 Swiss-made Gucci watch.
Don't use your money, use ours.
Absolutely. Well, use Wiley's, don't use mine.
No, not, well, you can try. I happen to like this watch. I think this is, I love the fact that we get brands that nobody else does. And the buying power of Swiss Watch International allows us to have relationships with some of the best watchmakers in the world and to get it at a price point that no one can touch. Yes, there might be, I've heard rumors that there could be other watch shows. You will never see the, clutch the pearls. It's that you'll never find the variety that we have here or the price point. In fact, we'll guarantee it. 30-day money-back guarantee and always free shipping.
All right, well, one last look here. We are getting ready now to do our top 10. That's where we showcase the 10 best-selling items of the show so far. Now, this is always so fun because, one, as they're doing right now, the top 10 gets calculated in real time, depending on what you guys are purchasing. It's great for us because we might pick something, as you guys know, for our hot pick, and then it's sometimes in the countdown, sometimes it's not. So it's kind of fun for us because we have no idea really what you guys are shopping for, but the top 10 is always a great indicator to see where the show is going, maybe what you guys want to see more of, because, you know, we always reach out and we want you to feel like when you call our customer service or when you send an email to our company, give your suggestions. Tell people, what watches do you want to see on the show? What do you want to see more of? That's how we, or the people that are in charge of merchandising the shows, they actually, believe it or not, as you've probably seen with our inventory and our lineup the past few weeks, we are listening to what you guys are asking for, and we are doing our best to bring out all of those items. So definitely feel free to see on our website, email our customer service, give us a call during the week, normal business hours, 9 to 5 Eastern time, Monday through Friday, and give them comments on what you want to see more of on the shows, so that way we can better merchandise for you.
We know what it is.
What?
Endless Megan Harris.
One person. Not that I don't appreciate that. I am very,
It was a lovely, what can we do to make the show better? And somebody said, Endless Megan Harris. If that's you, I have her home address.
You're really embarrassing me. All right, we're going to go to number 10.
I'm embarrassing you.
We're going to go to number 10 in our best sellers. Number
her.
10 is, yeah, it was probably my mom.
Get that other guy off there, Megan. He's taking up your TV time.
All right, coming in at number 10, one of those all-new Ben & Sons watches. Look at that. This is the one that you said you liked the most.
I think there's just a vintage feel about this, and both of them, both in the black variation and this, have an old world feel. They dressed it up. There's something unusual about it that really just stood out a little bit more. The 44 millimeter Mercury chronograph is just one of those watches that just feels like it steps back in time all the way to the price, because only $18 gets the watch home. It's under $90, and it's a brand new design. I don't understand how they keep the lights on here, because a brand new design at that price point, seriously? Okay, Ben & Sons is, again, they have this variation, but it also has another variation that you might also like, and that's the one that you were presenting, and I think it easily has ranked up there as one of the good sellers as well.
Yeah, that's right. Number 9 is actually the other Ben & Sons Mercury, because we did air 2 variations. This is the one that you said your son would like. I like this one too. The difference is there are quite a few of them. One, the black ionic plated case is all mirror polished. You have touches of rose tone inside the dial and for the hands on this one. And notice that instead of a Croco leather strap, You have that smooth leather strap with white stitching. 287679 Japanese chronograph quartz movement. It's the VD53 with date. 100 meters of water resistance and our proprietary Sapphitech crystal. $18. It ships. That's number 9.
Right behind that, oh, you liked this one. This is the Bulova 42mm Marine Star in that ruby red bezel and dial. We've known that green has been such a hot color right now, but now red is creeping its way in, so look forward to seeing more just like this. But they've done such a tasteful style with this very sporty variation of a luxury watch. And the touches of gold, whether it's the screws that hold the bezel in place, those pops of gold that run through the bracelet or on the pusher and crown, really do look stunning. $120, that is amazing for this design. Go ahead and try to find it anywhere else. You have a unirotating bezel, 100 meters of water resistance, and only $24 gets it home. Now, we're also going to pay for the shipping, and we're also going to make sure that you know you have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So go ahead, scour the internet, see if you can find it for less. Come on back to us. We're going to make sure you get this great Bulova Marine Star in just a few days.
Coming in at number 7, we aired 2 variations of the 45mm Murano. You can see all of those in case you missed anything at WorldofWatches.com. This is all 18-karat rose tone and black in a multi-level, multi-texture dial. This also features an all-new movement that we have never used before. It's the VD77. The chrono actually is a snapback once you reset it, almost as if you would see on an automatic timepiece. Very, very cool. Again, it's a 45mm case. You've got a black Croco embossed genuine leather strap, $120, but again, I always say go with the payments. $24 down, it ships. That's number 6, 287721.
Right behind that, the Swiss Legend. And now this is the 48mm of the Blue Genève. This is one of the largest configurations. The ISIS 8371 movement is it's an incredible movement. That's ISA, just in case. Just do not. We will not go there. Just keep moving, ladies and gentlemen. Just like last week when I mispronounced Croco embossed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've been fined by the FCC on that one.
Things get dicey every now and then.
Do you have a speech impediment? I do. We'll talk about that later. This is an incredible variation of this watch. Multiple colors on this, and when you see each one has its own look and feel, only $194 for this brand new design. And let me tell you, it looks and feels even more expensive than its $400 price point. There's just something about this watch. Only $39 gets it home. 287824 for this Swiss Legend.
Coming in at number 4, another one in the 48mm full size from the Blue Genève collection. Remember, we do have 4 different sizes of this timepiece to choose from, but the 48mm is the chrono that features the ISA 8371. As Wiley said, it is the biggest. It is Swiss made. You've got a ceramic bezel insert, and I love this rich, saturated royal blue. It's a great piece. Imagine wearing this with blue jeans. $195 or $39 if you're using the payments. I would. 287829. That's number 4. Number 3 comes to us from Gucci. We just aired this watch. 243689. Good on you guys for purchasing this. This is a true unisex timepiece. This is so awesome. It fits so comfortably. You've got that super comfortable nylon strap. All black and white, 316L stainless steel, sapphire crystal. It's a Gucci watch for more than half off, so I am all about that. It's a $1,200 watch. We've got it for $500, but you can use a stress-free payment. So put $100 down on any major credit card, and we will ship this watch to you for free. 243689. This is number 3. On our website, not only can you see all brand new items, as this Gucci watch would be one of them, but we do have a special section on our website dedicated to pre-owned luxury timepieces, almost an estate section, if you will. You can see lots of high-end Swiss-made brands there as well. Again, 243689, $500 or your first payment of $100 for number 3, the 45mm G Timeless XL. Look what number 2 is.
A very good choice by anybody who can pick this up. Now, we only have limited quantities. So if perchance this is a watch you can pick up, this 43mm Transocean automatic is an incredible timepiece. 450 parts on the inside. Realize there's a complete calendar built into this watch. It's adjusted once every leap year. There is 43mm case, 42 hours of power reserve, and the B19 movement, which is a 38 joule automatic, is incredible. Sapphire crystal, that beautiful woven mesh stainless steel bracelet, and of course the Breitling name. You're getting a $10,000, let me say it again, a $10,000 watch for almost half price, $57.79.99. $963 is all that it takes. I say all, I realize that's a lot of money, but in comparison to 10 grand, not so much. $963 is your first of 6 stress-free interest-free payments to get a pinnacle piece, home on the wrist, absolutely gorgeous watch, and one of my favorite ones in the Breitling collection. What are the chances that one of the executives will give this to me for Christmas?
Slim.
That's correct, which is why we have stress-free payments. Because I want that watch.
I love this watch. I love it in the full size too. But it looks like the best-selling item was my hot pick. Congratulations. What? I wish I could take credit for this, but you know what? It is such a no-brainer because this timepiece is just so gorgeous. Now, I went with the second smallest size. There's a 38 and then a 42. The 42 is the one that I went with for my hot pick. The 38 is beautiful as well, but I like things just a little bit bigger. It could be considered a unisex timepiece for those of you out there, gentlemen, if you don't want to wear anything larger than a 42mm. And we do have many different color variations, so if this one seems maybe too girly for you, we do have others that are a bit more pared down. The outer edge of that dial is A-grade mother of pearl, and it matches up beautifully with the white ceramic bezel insert on this 200-meter diver. The bezel and case are all done in a geometric called dodecagon shape. You can see all of those edges of the bezel are outfitted in rose tone to match the rose tone screw-down crown and center links of the bracelet. The bracelet links in the center portion where it's rose are brushed, and then your H links are mirror polished silver tone. Push button, dual deployant clasp, opens up to a screwed in case back, responsible for giving you 200 meters of water resistance to protect the ISA 2331 quartz movement. Sapphitech crystal with a 10-year warranty against scratching, genuine Swiss Super Luminova on all of the applied hour markers and hands, and a beautiful full size, yet a size that fits on the wrist. Look at that. No gapping and no spacing. Bracelet length can accommodate just under a 9-inch wrist at its maximum. So ladies, whether you've got a 6-inch wrist like I do or a bit larger, you can try the Blue Genève. 287-844. Again, there are 4 variations of this watch. We saw a couple of the 48mm full size in our countdown just now. But here, I think the most beautiful is this one. $36 gets it home. 287-844, $180 for your Swiss-made #1 seller.
Maurice Lacroix has just done an outstanding job. Now, if you go back in history to 1889 when they started building watches, you realize that they have had quite a footprint left in the watch world. In 1975, when they started reinvigorating the brand, well, that was at a very tough time to start doing that because that's when the quartz watch movement started. But the folks at the helm decided that these classic timepieces, in just like this configuration with this 21 joule automatic, they really needed to carry that torch forward. Now, this is an all Swiss made watch. It's a 40mm case, which I think is just the right size. The case is in a great high mirror polish, and you have this incredible design that is on the dial. And as they draw it even closer, I want you to take a peek at this 3-hand configuration to realize that you have the hour, the minute, continuously operating sweep hand, and then a complete secondary time zone as a small sub-dial at the 6 o'clock position. You have a dual date wheel reverse date wheel, large date complication at the 12 o'clock position. The watch to me is perfect in its size. Notice how those lugs drop straight down. When that sits on my wrist in just a moment, you're going to see why they've brought them down. Now, if you have a very large wrist, don't worry, it's still going to fit. You have this great push button, dual push button, single scissor deployment. Now, I may have a smaller wrist, but I have a larger hand. So being able to open the watch up with such great space there is going to make it easy to slip off and on. I want to show you let me show you the back first, for heaven's sakes. You got to see that beautiful 21 jewel movement. And there it is. You can see the Côte de Genève, or the Geneva waves, that are engraved onto the rotor. You can see the perlage decoration on the housing that's right behind it, and you can even see some knurling, almost swirls in the back that are a part of the very, very back of the watch. There's the beating heart right there. And even though this watch is, part of the Pontos collection and should be selling in that $4,000 price point, you're able to get it for under $1,500. Let me slip the watch on the wrist. You can tell me what you think. I think this is a classic configuration for Maurice Lacroix and is easily worth this price point. This is a perfect fit. Of course, you knew it would be. Now, with the additional links that are in the center part of the bracelet, they're in high mirror polish. There is somewhat of a polished satin finish that's also on the bracelet, and I think that contrast really makes it pop. And notice how the solid end links meet right up to the case. No gapping, no spacing. And I love the fact that they've used the reverse date wheels, because look how easy that pops right off of the dial. Now, I like this configuration quite a bit. Would your boyfriend wear this watch?
Absolutely. I've been looking at Maurice Lacroix watches and Raymond Weil watches to get him, and this is one that is a great option, especially because he has to dress up. He works in finance. This is something that he could wear every day. But it's also, because it's all silver tone on a bracelet, you get that little bit of, I think, flexibility where you could not necessarily dress it down, but it does have a little bit of sport luxury to it.
Anytime you have an additional sub-dial that's stepping out of a classic configuration, it does add a sportiness to the watch. The fact that you have a dual time gives a sense of travel to the watch, as if you are literally jumping time zones, whether across the country or across the world. Maybe you have somebody, maybe you have a young person that's off in college, or you have a friend on the other side of the globe like Megan does. Having this on the wrist, I mean, yes, I realize that our, high-end, even the cheap cell phones will give you multiple times, but you have to push buttons to get there.
Yep.
You can look at your time, but to get the secondary time zone, you need an app, or you need to have it programmed in. It's nice to be able to just look down and go, this is a good time to give her a call. This is a good time. Have you ever called somebody on the other side of the world that was like, why are you calling me this hour?
Absolutely.
And this is a great way, just at a glance, to know where they are. And, just a great time to call and check in. And this is one of those watches that you're not going to have to pay the full price. Do you ever think about folks that maybe have walked into a jewelry store and saw the watch, loved it, and then walked out because a $400, $500 price point just sent them right out the door?
Of course, I was probably one of those people.
You and I both have walked out going, that's just too much. Here, not even at dealer cost. This is in the basement, $1,489. 21 jewel automatic. And of course, it's a Maurice Lacroix movement within the watch. It's all Swiss-made, sapphire crystal, dual time zone, only $248.33 to get it home. We're going to put it on the very max 6 stress-free, interest-free payments. 877-969-8818 to get this beautiful Pontos Collection Maurice Lacroix home to you. Now, you just said this name.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
Do we have this watch in studio? Because even if it's just a mention, we had just popping up there just for a moment. We're looking at our preview monitor, and we got all excited because we saw Raymond Weil. We happen to like Raymond Weil quite a bit. And even if it's just a mention, we have to just let you know this is a great classic configuration of the Raymond Weil 3-hand. Isn't this beautiful?
This is gorgeous. I love the color of the dial. It almost has a bronze sunray look to it.
Now, this again, you were just saying, is this one of the ones you'd consider for your boyfriend?
I actually think based on the size, I believe this is a 36 millimeter.
Let's take a peek real quick because we can measure it out. That's one of the things you certainly want to have from us is accuracy on that. And, you know, this is...
Oh, it's a 39 millimeter, excuse me.
You know, it doesn't look that big. It doesn't look like a 30.
It's kind of slimmer look to it overall. We were talking about this a few moments ago when I was talking about the Maurice Lacroix watches being affordable luxury. The Raymond Weil watch has incredible savings on our website. We have an entire section. Of course, you can always shop by brand. And what I love is really being able to now start affording some of these Swiss-made watches, because I am the person like you that would see one of these watches, even this, the $2,600 price in stores, and think, okay, well,
Well, you know, the Raymond Weil,
wait.
as I said, the Raymond Weil 4200 series movement is a 26 jewel automatic. So you know that, again, is going to be just a workhorse within that watch, but it's also beautiful to see. So as we come into the live shot, I want you to just see how this wears, how it looks on the hand, on the wrist, and even take a peek at the back of the watch so that you can see that you have as much enjoyment just handling the watch as you will be wearing it. I love the strap on here. It is a very durable leather, and the fact that there is a dual push button deployant is just going to make it, because you'll notice right there, dual push button, of course the custom Raymond Weil logo on there. Leather can wear out if it's rubbing against something over time. The fact that you have that deployant that has the ability to do the work, all the metal parts doing the work, and snapping so easily into place, that's where the stress is going to be on the metal, not on the leather. Take a look. I love the texturing that leads to that very smooth outer chapter ring. And you notice all the way down to almost a tachymeter style outer chapter ring. It's not. I mean, it's just the seconds. But you've got this great classic look from the Roman numerals. But then you have all the way down to the seconds running through there too. It's very subtle. You know, they didn't want to, I think, make it too sporty, but it's just a nice way to see those details. And of course, as you're taking a peek within the watch, you can see that this is a screw-down crown, and as we lock that into place, you can see the three-hand configuration, the hour, the minute, continuously operating sweep hand. You have a date complication with a Cyclops lens right there at the 3 o'clock position. Now, I'm going to pop this open, let you see the back of the watch, and you can see that 26 jewel automatic. Isn't that beautiful?
What Raymond Weil does is similar to what Maurice Lacroix used to do before they started making their own in-house movements, is they actually purchase movements from Unitas or ETA. In this case, this is a Solita automatic movement inside. And what they do is then they modify them. I'll try that on if that's okay.
Please.
They then modify them in-house to their exact specifications. They adjust them to their own positions. And what that enables them to do is to call it their own movement. So it's a special way to be able to have something that they're able to purchase and then they improve upon themselves. So it really, by the time, it's almost like getting a car and completely customizing it. You know, or you buy a home and maybe you renovate the inside of it. You know, it's still maybe the same structure, same, you know, brick and mortar on the outside, but on the inside, it's entirely new. And that's similar to what brands like Raymond Weil do when they purchase movements from others. Look at how slim that 39 millimeter case is. It's so easy to wear. I tried it on first because I'm actually wearing a 39 millimeter on my other wrist, so I think it's a great size, easy to wear. I know it's got a classic men's dress watch. Look at that. Can you see that blue?
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's anti-reflective coating over that sapphire crystal. Of course, you do have sapphire crystals front and back. Most of the time, we think about dress watches being in all black and silver. So to see this one with that rich, almost bronze sunray dial, and then that brown Croco embossed leather, it's quite nice to be able to see something in luxury in more of an unexpected color. 287100. This is an automatic for $830. The total price is $26.50. 6 payments, though. That is our maximum. 6 stress-free, interest-free payments, allowing you 6 months at $138 a month to afford a $2,700 Swiss-made watch. Now, this next watch, many of you are familiar with this. Tony Kanaan Special Edition Luminox timepiece. Right here.
This is one of the watches that I think stands out in the Luminox collection because we're very used to the black on black, the very stealthy watches, the very military inspired. here, going from the racing world, it takes on a different look. And I don't want to say it's more user-friendly or that it's a friendlier watch, because certainly, the others are easy to use. But this is just one of the watches that it pops because they've really taken on a different look. And I love that about this, that they've made this special edition, limited edition, and look how much we've taken off the price. With most of our Luminoxes, if we can get half off, we're doing pretty good. Well, we're well below that, because the $1,200 price point would be half off. But this is $1,400 new. Now, if you wait till midnight on Sunday, we will mark that back up because we like to pay for the lights and stuff here at the building, and $779. But right now, this limited edition piece is only $599. So if you've been looking to get into a price-protected Luminox, all Swiss-made sapphire crystal, then you have to consider this 44mm watch. Now, it's an unusual shaped case. We realize it's going to measure out a little differently, or may wear a little differently because of the unusual geometric shape. But that's about, it's going to wear like about a 44, 45mm. You will notice that even though it is a race-inspired watch, and you have everything from the checkered flag and, of course, Tony's colors throughout, you also have that large date complication at the 6 o'clock. But notice right here on this track is all of the lume for the watch. Now, if you look at these tubes filled with tritium, all this is a self-illuminating substance. Unlike, painted on types of lume that you'd have to put up to light and allow it to charge up, this constantly has illumination to it. Now, guys, perchance do we have the lume for this watch? Just wondering. I know that we don't for every single one, but what you would see is each of these individual tubes has its own gas inside. And you have about 20 years of half-life on here before you even begin to start seeing that degradation. Now, the Swiss-made Ronda movement in here, is going to be reliable, it's going to be accurate, it's going to be a workhorse for this watch. And I think it's going to look great. If you can, go ahead and take a peek at the lume here, and you're going to see it mimics exactly like that racetrack you saw. And this is what you're going to see when you step out at night. Now, tritium is used so reliably that even hunters and gun collectors happen to have gun sights with tritium built into it. Now, one of the things I was going to show you, that the strap on the watch has a contrasting color to it, and I can show it to you by just reversing it in just a second. But when you come back to that live shot, you're taking a look at the watch on the wrist. That 44, 45mm case is a great fit. There's a lot of great look to it. Of course, that black leather really does look great. You're seeing pops of white. But you'd also notice, if you were to take the strap off, that white is completely on the inside.
I love the sides of the case. If you could show a side profile, you can see all of that mirror polished carbon fiber inlay there. That is so cool. Everything about this is racing inspired. And as we've talked about on the shows before, Luminox makes partnerships with people such as Tony Kanaan, with the Space Exploration Corporation, with the U.S. Navy SEALs. And what they do is they design timepieces with representatives from those places, and then those watches are actually worn by those individuals. And you can read all about their history and all of their different partnerships on their website, of course, WorldofWatches.com. And so I appreciate that, because it's not just a watch company that's saying, oh, we designed something for Tony Kanaan and his racing fans.
And he signed off on it somewhere.
No, he was involved in the steps of the design aesthetic. They do this with the Color Mark series, which we see with the Navy SEALs. Navy SEALs actually wear their watches. There are photos, there's literature about it online. It's really quite interesting. So I love that they don't just say, oh, this is a watch that was designed if you love this racer. It actually does make sense. Now, if you know nothing about Tony Kanaan, but you just think the watch is cool.
It looks good.
It doesn't have his name on it. It doesn't have the word Brazil, because the colors are his racing colors, but also he's Brazilian, so they're from his country, of course. If you just love the look, you can totally rock this kind of watch. I just like the fact that Luminox, when they do partnerships, they go all in. They don't just say, oh, we designed this for Tony Kanaan. No. He designed the watch with them. He signed off on it, and that I appreciate. 277-393, $600.
For a Luminox.
More than half
Unbelievable.
off.
For a limited edition Luminox.
We've been doing some amazing prices on our Luminox watches. You know, it used to be, we used to always say this, Luminox was a price-protected brand, and it is. But it's so cool to be able to be on the shows with less than dealer cost with more than 50% off. So one last look, we are going from this is a watch for me actually. We are going from one very, very sporty men's racing inspired watch to a watch that, if you caught the shows last week, you know I actually made this watch my hot pick. It is Swiss made, but it is Swiss made, Swiss Legend. And this is the all new Swiss Legend Legacy. This is a watch that, as I said, I made my hot pick last week on the show. I love these new Swiss Legends. We've got the Blue Genève and the Legacy. This is the Legacy, of course. You'll notice that they are slightly different, or actually they're quite different in their design. But the 38mm Legacy, much like the Blue Genève, is all about sport luxury. When I was in that brand meeting on Friday, Niso Barocas, who of course is the creative director for all of our company-owned brands, he was talking about how the direction Swiss Legend is going in, where it's sort of been, but where it's really, really moving towards, is sport luxury. It is the kind of style that, much like myself, I could wear this to the show while working, and then I could wear it out to dinner on a Friday night, but I could also wear it to the beach or the gym. It's got that sport luxury look. What better luxury than a 200-meter professional diver with a mother-of-pearl dial? Look at this mother-of-pearl dial. That is a true grade A mother-of-pearl that has been painted that royal blue. It's a two-tone of 18-karat rose and silver tone. And I'm going to lay this flat so you can see, because I want you to be able to see inside the movement when we come a little bit closer. It's a multi-function. So what it actually is it appears to be a chronograph, but you've got the days of the week, your calendar date. Watch when I use the 2 o'clock pusher, that 3 o'clock subdial. See that? It sets the date. When I use the 4 o'clock subdial, look at the 6 o'clock position. It changes that subdial for a secondary time zone. That's a 24-hour chapter ring. So you could have that as the AM/PM indicator, or you could have that offset almost like a GMT. All of that in this ISA movement in a Swiss-made watch. The size is great. Again, ladies, if you are looking for a watch that's got a presence to it but is not too big, you can see from a little bit of a a backup shot, you can see here that it's not too big and bulky at all. It fits really, really well. You've got solid end link construction on your stainless steel bracelet. You've got that Sapphitech crystal that gives you a 10-year warranty against scratching, and a 5-year warranty on the ISA movement. 289-547, $200 for the Legacy. Now, as promised, we do have other sizes of that Blue Genève, my hot pick being the 42mm. Wiley showed off the 48mm chronograph. Gentlemen out there, and I know you said you like this size at 46mm. Right here, this one features the ISA 2331 quartz movement inside. It's a 3-handed 46mm. Black dial, black ceramic bezel insert, rose tone case bezel bracelet. $180 or your first payment of $36. 200 meters of water resistance in a Swiss-made watch. 287-838.
Following right behind that, again, here is another variation. This is the 46mm Blue Genève, and this time the two-tone stainless steel with that gorgeous blue dial once again. This is one of those watches that the moment you pick it up, it's going to be an attention getter. The moment you put it on the wrist, part of it is going to be that beautiful ceramic bezel with the gorgeous matching blue dial. Now, how they've matched up some of these at times, particularly the ones that have mother of pearl, is amazing. And you're going to be delighted when you see it. This in the two-tone variation, I think, is one of the most versatile, and it's why folks have been buying this so readily. Only $36 gets this home. $179.99 is the total price, and of course we pay for shipping and we have a money-back guarantee. Brand new design, all Swiss made. We are delighted to be able to offer this to you, and it's hard to believe that we're heading into the third hour.
Our third and final hour. We are going to go back to the same theme that we had in our first hour. Showcase all bestseller watches. Probably have a few more Swiss-made watches tucked in there as well. Every single item is on 5 and 6 stress-free payments. So you are really able to shop with a lot of confidence for the holiday, that not only are you getting the guaranteed low price, But should you so want to, you can use the stress-free payments. And it's not a layaway plan. Once you make your first payment today, we actually process your order and ship it out to you tomorrow. So you get these items within a matter of days. I love it. You don't have to wait until you make all the payments. You just put your first one down on any major credit card, and just like that, we ship it off to you. Let's jump into a preview and show you what's coming up in our third and final hour together.
Oh, are you happy?
I am happy. And we have not had the gunmetal variation of this watch in so long. I'm so excited to be able to show this to you. The Ellini Barocas Gladiator. If there was one watch from Ellini, well, I guess I would have to say two, because I love the Fortitudo and the Gladiator. This 50mm case is so sexy, is so gorgeous. This is what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. This is the kind of watch everyone can wear, and I will prove that to you when I even try this on, and it fits perfectly. But also, it's the kind of watch that you can wear, gentlemen, to a business meeting or to the beach. 190924, $90, 5 payments. Always a bestseller. Literally every single show, this Bulova dress watch is always a popular choice. 210278. You've got the expanded date window at the 12 o'clock position, a fully functioning Japanese chronograph quartz movement, one of the slimmest watches of the entire show, even with a concave case design. So what that means is it actually tapers towards the case back, so this slim watch becomes even slimmer on the wrist. $140, but I say use the payments. $28 gets it home, interest-free. 210278.
One of my favorite watches happens to also come from Bulova, and that's the Precisionist. Precisionist is the world's most accurate quartz movement. Now, this variation has every bell and whistle, including all of that beautiful rose-tone gold over stainless steel. You're not only getting a timekeeper, but you're getting an exceptional timekeeper all the way down to 1/1000th of a second with a retrograde subdial at the 6 o'clock position. It's going to give you everything you want and more. So if you decide to time the Olympics, don't worry, you can do it. Hour, minute, continuously operating sweep hand is a small seconds. You also have a locked-in to place sweep hand, which can double as a sweeping hand. It has a 1/10th, 1/100th, and 1/1000th of a second, and a minute, an hour totaler, and a date complication. Absolutely unbelievable. The watch is one of my favorites, and if you look at it and you realize it's $899, that's an expensive timepiece. But look at what you can do for only $329. All of that at a fraction of the price, and only $66 gets it home. Amazing, and we love our Bulova Precisionist. Now, if you're going to go with go big or go home, then go Breitling.
I like that.
Go big, go home, or go Breitling. Breitling is just one of those pinnacle watches. It's up there. You know the brands, whether it is Omega or Omega, if you happen to be in Great Britain, or it happens to be Rolex. Breitling is just right there. It runs with the big dogs. Now, here's a watch with 450 parts. A complete perpetual calendar adjusted once every leap year. You know, with the B19 movement, which is a 38 jewel automatic with 42 hours of power reserve within this 43mm case, you're getting a lot of watch. There's the sapphire crystal that's protecting that beautiful dial. Each one of the subdials does double duty because each subdial has 2 functions, and there is also a AM PM or moon phase indicator on there. Love the watch all the way down to what I think is the best bracelet in the watch world. Dress watch, yes. Luxury watch all the way. But also if you're heading out somewhere and you're heading on that epic vacation, here is a great world traveler. You're going to love this watch. 282721 for the Breitling Transocean, the 43mm. It is gorgeous.
My hot pick is item number 287844. It is the 42mm Blue Genève. Here you are looking at a mother of pearl dial, a white ceramic bezel insert, which of course scratch resistant. That, along with the proprietary scratch resistant Sapphitech crystal, means that the top of this watch is like a beautiful little tank. Nothing's going to scratch it up. This is the second of the 4 sizes available. It's a 3-hand with the ISA 2331 3-hand quartz movement inside. That movement has an average battery life of 66 months. So you got 5.5 years on average with this movement. I want you to see the side profile because, ladies, if you're thinking, well, I like it, but it might be too big, I have a 6-inch wrist. It fits perfectly. It's got a presence to it. It feels like that boyfriend watch. It feels like that menswear inspired design that is so popular with ladies' watches now in something that doesn't look masculine. Doesn't look like I'm wearing something that really was a men's watch. There's a time and a place for that. I own a few men's watches and I love them. But I like something that's big but designed for a woman's wrist. If I tilt this down, you can see the 6 o'clock number there. Swiss made on either side of that. The all-new Swiss-made Swiss Legend watches. Get used to it because we're going to have a lot more coming up in the next few months. Two-tone here of rose tone and silver tone. The rose is all brushed except around that dodecagon bezel. That's that geometric shape. I love the way the edges even of the case are beveled off, so it has almost a maritime or nautical inspired design, which is perfect because the watch also has 200 meters of water resistance. Yes, you could actually wear this watch while scuba diving. 287-844, one last look. And if anything, like last hour, this watch is the #1 seller because about a half hour ago, it was the #1 seller in our top 10. So I hope it stays that way. A watch that is undoubtedly a top seller. A watch that the holiday season, 2 years ago, I believe it was, this watch premiered maybe a year ago. I'm starting to get a little confused.
It's one of the first watches I ever showed on the show.
I remember that. I always think about this watch being one of the first watches, and what's the other one? I always think of you. It'll come to me in a moment. These are the watches that are truly, truly some of the best value. This is the kind of watch, Wiley, you could wear it with the dressed up shirt that you have on right now, or with a t-shirt and jeans.
Oh, this is absolutely. This is the watch is a little large, but the design and the style actually calls for
The
it.
tungsten watch. I always think about you with the Swiss Legend tungsten watch.
Yes, which I bought for my son, and he loves
Sorry,
that
I didn't mean
watch.
to just like stream of consciousness there.
Hey, can I buy a tungsten bracelet? Will they let me do that?
I think we could
Well,
probably
we can
work something
arrange
out.
that. I'll talk to somebody. Probably the janitorial staff. The only people that return my calls. The Alini Barocas Gladiator is a bold design. Now, there are other configurations of this watch in other colors, so please consult the website. We have just the right one for you, but this very dark and sinister version is one of the ones that you're going to love to add to your collection because when you need it to blend in, it does, but it always makes a bold design on the wrist. As you look into the watch, you'll see the multiple layers that actually make up the watch. Notice that there's a lot of texturing going on here. 3-hand configuration, the hour, the minute, and a continuously operating sweep hand as a small seconds at the 2 o'clock position. You'll also notice there are 2 additional subdials for the multifunctions within the watch. One of them is a day of the week, and then an expanded date window there at the 4 o'clock position, but it's a reverse date window, which means it has a black wheel with white lettering as opposed to the white wheel black lettering. The watch almost sits up with what Megan has affectionately called a crown on the top, and you'll actually see the bolts that are holding this multiple layer case together. Is it a bold design? You better believe it. Is it worth $200? Every penny. The $189 price point, which is our wow price, is an incredible value, but look, under $90. Have we had this we had it this price before?
We are back at holiday price. Normally throughout the year we air it for about $100, so now we are down to $90.
I've never seen this at $18 to get it home. Okay, just so that folks know, if you are unsure about the watch, you're unsure, of course you're shopping with confidence from us, but here's what I want you to know. This particular watch and this particular brand, the Alini Barocas brand, is one that I have 100% confidence in because, one, Niso, has named a watch after a family member.
His daughter.
Yeah, I was about to say, and with his name on the watch, don't you think a little extra, just a little bit extra eyeball is on it? Mm-hmm. The quality of this watch that bears his name is just one of those that you're going to completely feel comfortable with. Even though it's a large watch, look at how the lugs wrap around. That's a perfect fit. I mean, it's a big watch, perfect fit, but there's still a generous amount of strap if you needed more. And look, you can even make this fit down to a much smaller wrist. Megan has a 6-inch wrist. This watch will fit easily, and she has worn it on more than one occasion.
I'm actually going to show you that right now. I want to try this watch on because I want everybody out there to see that even though it's a 50 millimeter, it does size down. And in fact, we have quite a few ladies viewers who have written in that they own this watch. They've purchased this watch. This and the Alini Barocca's Fortitudo. If you're not familiar with the Fortitudo, I encourage you to check it out on our website as well. I call them sort of fraternal twins because they are very, very similar in their design aesthetic. The cases are almost identical, but of course the everything that they do to the case afterwards makes them very, very different. But they're both 50 millimeters that do fit down to a 6-inch wrist. I don't even have it on the tightest closure.
And it fits.
Oh, it fits perfectly. It's so comfortable. I like this because I'm a fan of kind of that European or Italian style design. I think for gentlemen, it looks great. I have always had such a hard time deciding between, I love black and rose, but then the black and gunmetal, which is what this is. That gunmetal, which is obviously a slightly lighter shade than if this was all blacked out with black ionic plating. The gunmetal is so rich. It's almost like if Batman had an Alini. There's something cool about it. The high contrast for the tips of the hands make it so easy to read and to see your chrono just from a glance down at the wrist. And that is a Swiss-made ISA 8172 quartz chronograph movement. Look at that. No gapping, no spacing. This is a cool watch. 190924. $18 a month. That means you put $18 down on any major credit card. We are shipping this bad boy out to you tomorrow.
Are you suggesting that Niso is Batman? He would make a great Batman. He'd probably be the most elegant Batman
he'd be
ever.
And that's saying something.
Okay, we have only aired this one time before. And this is a watch that both you and I got very excited about because as the #1 seller, authorized seller of Invicta, being able to present these watches is just a lot of fun. Take a look. You're getting a lot of watch here. The moment you look into that dial and you see that carbon fiber and you realize there are certainly the large hour indices that are, I think they use trittonite for their loom on Invictas. So I'm sure that's what's been used here at the hour indices as well as on the hands. You have a great unirotating bezel that just snaps into place. And look, there's that color again. You're seeing that ruby red coming through. And what I also like about this is on the polyurethane strap, they've added an additional layer of decoration with that great kind of perforated metal mesh that runs through there. Now, it's very finished all the way around. There is no doubt about that. But where this could have just been left as solid, no. They've decided to add just another splash of detail, just like Invicta does. Now, there is a very resounding click to this as this rotates, because you can just tell the quality. 3-hand configuration in this watch. There's the hour, the minute, that continuously operating sweep hand, and of course a date complication at the 3 o'clock position with a cyclops that is over it. That cyclops lens is allowing you to more easily read the time. You can see that screw down back. That's going to help add to the water resistance of the watch. And of course, you have all the way down to the Invicta engraving on the side of the case. The watch is 47 millimeters. I was talking to a guy the other night that collects watches, and he just said, I love all of the diving collection from Invicta. Mind you, that's a lot of watches. But he just, every time he associated Invicta, he didn't think dress watch. He didn't think of the big, bold designs that sometimes you and I talk about. All he could think about was dive watches.
Really?
And there is just, he said, I love it because a lot of their watches pull from the look that I might see in a Rolex, I might see in a Submariner. But he said, who, on his price point, he said, who could afford that? And he's right. That's a very expensive. Even if you're going into a base model, you're going with $6,000 to $8,000 for your introductory, watch. Well, here's a watch that has a lot of look, a lot of pop, for only $80. I want to slip this on, and you can just take a look for a second. Without, some watches lay flat like that, and they'll go all the way. Notice that automatically takes that shape of a wrist. Now, I want to slip this on my wrist and let you see how that 47 millimeter case looks. I think it looks pretty good. And because it's in the natural shape of my wrist, yeah, incredibly comfortable to wear. Look at that.
That fits you perfectly, and it's all about the construction. So that's why the case and the lug area, even the integrated rubber strap being curved, if you've got a smaller wrist, like we both have under 7-inch wrists, but when you see us wearing watches that are this big, I mean, you only know for yourself, it's going to be even better if you've got a bigger wrist.
Do you like the pop of red through there? That kind of ruby red?
I do. I always am partial with dive watches or with sport luxury watches like this, maybe having, especially when they're divers, having bits of blue in them. You know, I always say I like that. But I do like when I see a color. I love when men wear color on a watch. I think that a lot of times men tend to stay in that safe zone of blacks and silvers and maybe a little bit of brown, rarely white, or as much as I would like to see. So if you like a color, I think it's kind of fun, especially for a sport watch, something you're going to wear just on the weekends and such.
This red, to me, it's not in a fluorescent red. It's not in a fire engine red. It is such a jewel tone ruby red that it's very classic. It does not feel offensive or harsh at all. And it's one of those that I would easily wear this watch. It's not ostentatious. I love the fact that it has that very strong sporty feel to it with that carbon fiber. But look at the detail all the way down to the Invicta logo. Look how much detail there is right there on the sweep hand. I love this watch, and the fact that you're not having to pay full price. Okay, the watch, I don't know what planet they think it's going to be $795, maybe a watch of this style. But again, this is probably, $150, $200 is a good price for the watch. Once it made it down to the $119 price, okay, you've got my attention. I want it at $100 if you really want me to buy the watch. Well, you've dropped it down to $79.99. That's a no-brainer. $16. Do you have, Mom, Dad, do you have a young person in your world that they need a watch, and you want something that's going to be really cool, that's going to be durable, that's going to last? Then consider this watch, because only $16 gets it home, and you're only out, a total of $80 for the watch, and we're going to pay for shipping, and there's a money-back guarantee. So should they get it and decide that no, that's not the watch, unlikely, then you can always send it back. Now, speaking of watches that we really like.
How funny that we were just saying with the tungsten watches, and here they are. But you know what? And I know that we touched on this on the last shows. We haven't had the full tungsten pro on bracelet in so long. Most of the time, we only have the tungsten case and bezel with the rubber straps. We've got full tungsten here.
This is super nice, and I want the white one. I know you would think that I would pick the red, but there again, you'll find that when you need that classic configuration, that look that says business, it has an understated elegance, I go with the white or silver. Nice. I mean, the black is very classic, but this is clean. Folks, you notice this looks almost like a chrome, and that there is a bit more polish than maybe you're used to seeing. This is tungsten. Tungsten is one of the most durable materials. You'll find it in everything from jewelry to surgical items to implants. It's just one of those things that, because of its weight, durability, the fact that it's hypoallergenic, you'll see it in high-end jewelry. Maybe even you're wearing a wedding ring right now that is made of tungsten. Maybe you have jewelry with tungsten. You know how expensive that was. Now imagine this watch made of tungsten. And that's the case and the bracelet. Now, follow me just for a second, because I'm going to move this just to weigh it. So I don't want to drop it out of camera frame too much. Are you guys watching? They're not. Let's see if they're awake in there. Give them a second. I'm still on here. Don't leave me. 200. That's all I was doing, is weighing it out. 200 grams. That's a heavy watch.
Oh, yeah, it's a weighty watch.
You have a dual push button, dual deploy, and I'm going to trade out because I have the white one, but I'm going to go ahead and slip the red one on because you do need to see it. This is a very bright red. It's an orangey red.
We call it Swiss Legend red.
It is, but it is not a bad red. It's just a very loud red. And I think it's designed, when you're wearing a tungsten watch, go ahead and plan on getting attention, because it doesn't look like stainless steel. It doesn't look like silver. It doesn't look like platinum. It's not quite in a gunmetal, but there's a slight smokiness to it. It's a high polish, and this is going to look this way a thousand years from now.
You know what also Swiss Legend gives you when they give you the high quality scratch resistant watches like tungsten or ceramic? Sapphire crystals.
So when you've got the durability of tungsten, you've got that unirotating bezel, which is going to make this for a great dive watch. You have a sapphire crystal. This watch is going to look this good 1,000 years from now. If not in 1,000 years, return it to Swiss Watch International. Megan and I will still be here.
You know what I love? I'm wearing the Titanio from Swiss Legend. It looks very similar to this right now. I've got it on, it's the watch I'm wearing personally today. You can see, I'll just put it in. So you can see it's very similar.
Nice.
This is titanium carbide over ceramic. It's got a very similar look to tungsten, but tungsten weighs more, whereas ceramic weighs a little less than stainless steel. Tungsten actually weighs a little bit more. But what's so nice is it's like a little insurance policy on the wrist. You will not bang this watch up. You will not scratch this watch up. You are guaranteed to have a watch that's going to make a statement, and yet you've got that reassurance there where you don't have to worry about it. It has the Swiss ETA G10-211 quartz chronograph movement, so you got a really cool ETA Swiss-made movement inside. $190 for a watch that will look brand new forever. 5 payments of $38, $705.95. That's how you know it's an original. That's how you know these are originals, because you can see the numbers like the Bull of Address, a newer watch in our inventory because the number is longer, 210278. So whenever we have items up there with numbers that only have 5 numbers in them, like the tungsten, that's how you know it's kind of an old school brand.
I just think they forgot a number. I just make one up when I give them numbers out on the air when you're not here. I just add one. That way they're surprised. They, ooh, I didn't realize I ordered sunglasses. This is a great dress watch. Megan was talking about this watch earlier, and it really is just one of those pieces. I'm going to have to let the light reflect off the dial for you to really capture what we're seeing here in the studio. Because as the watch, I mean, that looks good, but when you see how it's all in high mirror polish, that the tachymeter style chapter ring on the outer part of the dial really looks phenomenal. 3-hand configuration, the hour, the minute, a small second subdial at the 6 o'clock position. You have 2 additional totalers there for the chronograph. You happen to have an expanded date window at the 12 o'clock position, which gives you a glimpse inside. And as you look at the watch and you realize, you know, this is a very low profile watch. This is that great dress watch for the office. There's just something about it that the moment you pick it up, you almost feel like you're picking up a vintage watch again. Because so many of the other styles are in the diver style, and they look a lot like that, like we saw with the Invicta earlier. It's a great look. I mean, it's a very popular look. This harkens back to a different era. Now, you do get a dual push button, dual scissor deployment, which allows you easily to put the watch off and on the wrist. And you can see that some of them are pry apart. I happen to like the push button. So a simple push of the pusher allows both of those, and it swings out. Let me slip this on the wrist. You take a peek right there and see how it looks. What do you think?
I think it's nice.
I think there's an elegance to this that is very understated. It really does fit well.
It looks like a vintage Bull of a watch.
It does, but there is still just some 21st century touches in there, such as the larger Arabic numerals, just the way that the subdials are placed. The expanded date window is a nice touch that they've added over the years. And I think when you get the watch and you realize, you know, that reliable Japanese quartz movement that's in there, the construction of the bracelet, the style that is within the dial, all of this for under $140. I mean, don't pay $400 in the jewelry store. I mean, saw a young man wearing a Citizen watch. It was a nice watch, but I said, oh, that's very nice. He goes, oh, you won't believe it. I got it from the jewelry store here in the mall. It was only $250. And I just went, I wish you had called me. Because here, this watch, if somebody came to me and said, oh, I just bought this watch for $400, I'd be excited they had the watch, but you could have bought, you know, 2 or 3 of them from us. You don't have to pay retail. As watchmakers, watch designers, we know how to find a good deal. Either we're making the watch or we're finding it from those who are making the watches, and we bring them to you. You're shopping with confidence. Remember, this watch is only $28 to get it home. That's your first of 5 stress-free, interest-free payments. and we want to make sure that these come to you ASAP. And like Megan said, this is one of our new designs. 210278 will get you the Bulova dress watch home, and you will not be disappointed, because heaven's sakes, if you are, we'll bring it right back to us, and we'll even pay for it to do so, and we'll give you every penny back. How about a brand new Lucien Piccard?
Oh my gosh.
Have you seen this?
I have not seen the Optima before. This is gorgeous.
This is an incredible piece, and I'm sitting here just looking at the details on the watch, and they are innumerable. This is one of the watches that, again, you will not be disappointed to be able to get this home. Folks, you know, it has 50 meters of water resistance. It has a beautiful mineral crystal, 316L stainless steel, and again, it looks incredible. It's one of the watches that...
brand new.
Yes, and I think it's, again, it is absolutely beautiful. And, you know, as folks are watching this program, you know, or different ones throughout the week, aren't you glad that we have watches like this to offer? Because we have the classic styles, we have unusual styles, we have a lot going on. To be able to have this brand new design, I mean, is absolutely phenomenal. The Japanese automatic movement that's on the inside of this, of course, is going to be reliable and accurate. And you can just look into that beating heart, because this is a great way to get a skeletonized movement with an open heart configuration, but it not be a full skeletonization. And I think it looks fantastic. If that's one to add to your collection, do not hesitate, because it is stunning. Now, one of our favorite brands, and the one we happen to have an outstanding relationship, is Maurice Lacroix. And here you're looking at a collection that is, it's not part of the masterpiece, it's not one of the others that can be very, very expensive. Now, believe it or not, this is a bargain at $9,900. You know, that is incredible. But what you're looking at is a 25 jewel automatic, all Swiss made, with the ML155 movement. Now, don't you love how this looks so much like gold?
Oh, yes, I do.
Because it's solid 18 karat gold.
This is a solid gold watch, and you know what? We have never aired this size of the Les Classiques collection before. How amazing that this is a $10,000 watch, and we each have an option that we're trying on to showcase.
Oh, and I like both of them. This is an easy to read version of the watch. You know, I've told this story a couple of times to you, but I've got to tell it again. I was at the jewelry store here in town, and I walked in. I wanted to compare what we have to offer with what some of the other jewelry stores have to offer in gold watches. And I said, can you show me a solid 18 karat gold watch, and either men or ladies? I'm looking for some gift ideas.
Oh, stop it.
Well,
stop
it's true,
it.
Megan. And it was interesting. She said, well, we do have a starting price of $5,000, but that's for the smaller ladies' watches. And this was, you know, the petite size. So understand, when you go into the jewelry store world, you're looking at $5,000 for a solid gold watch. And this is solid 18 karat gold. And we're going to show you close-ups in just a minute of this case, of the movement. This is not a quartz movement inside of a gold case. We've not, you know, cheaped out in any way to give you this beautiful look for this watch. It is solid 18 karat gold. The ML155 movement is incredible inside this watch. Notice that they very subtly placed in that date complication at the 6 o'clock. Three-hand configuration outside of that. And that beautiful, beautiful gold. Of course, that's alligator. And not only is the watch gold, are you going to love the fact that even the buckle is also solid 18 karat gold? I mean, that is fairly incredible that you're getting that value all the way around. Folks, if you've always wanted to wear solid gold, but it has prohibited you from buying it, then realize for only $466, you're able to get this watch home on the first payment, and it's 6 payments altogether. And you're only paying $27.99 for the watch, not $10,000, and heaven forbid the $5,000 for a small version in the jewelry store. Now, I like the white configuration of this watch, but look at what Megan has. And I'll show them the back. I'll set this up. Guys, I'm going to set this up so they can see the back, and you can come in on that while you're taking a peek at Megan's selection.
So these are actually both 37 millimeter cases. I know that this one now says the graphics say 38. They are actually both 37 millimeters.
It just means on your wrist, Megan, it wears like a 38.
So I don't know. We'll have that adjusted. But here you can see this is a 37 millimeter solid rose gold timepiece. Look at how slim it is on the wrist. Solid gold buckle there. Again, rose tone. This is for me like the ultimate watch, right? It's solid rose and black. I always talk about how much I love black. Black and rose together with this gorgeous alligator strap. Easy. I mean, this is a size that's smaller than the watch I'm currently wearing. So it's very, very easy to wear. I'm going to take mine off and show you. Sorry, I'll just do that since I've got it.
But Megan, you know what? I measured the watch out, and it comes out to 37 3/4. So it is technically 37, but it's also right at 38 too.
Okay, okay. If you read our website, it's going to say 37 millimeters, but it's good that you measured that then, because it's always different on our website, unfortunately.
Well, you have to pick when you're at that halfway point. And probably one person
I
is
round up. I would have rounded up to 38.
You want to make it bigger.
18 karat gold right there. Perlage decoration. Côte de Genève on the custom rotor there. You can see this is all Swiss made. 25 jewel automatic movement inside. 18 karat buckle. It's elegant. It's stunning. This is the kind of watch that you own and you don't need much else. I apologize for my fingerprints on there. I was obviously caressing and loving this watch because it is so amazing. You guys saw how it looked on my wrist. You saw how it looked on Wiley's wrist. It is a great size. Very, very friendly for everyone in that true classic size. 286 484. 6 payments. You're under $500. Think about that for a moment. It's an $8,000 timepiece in solid gold. You're at $2,900. You're at a fraction of that price, and you can use 6 interest-free payments. We are maxing it out. 286 484. You have a solid gold Maurice Lacroix.
I hate to say this, but this bargain price that you're seeing right now is less than what I paid, even with trying to finagle, hey, can I have host price? And they, of course, said that'll be double. And because you know what they pay us. But seriously, folks can get that watch for less than I was able to pay for my Maurice Lacroix. And that's not said with any ill. It is just, that's what happens. Sometimes when we buy an allotment, it may be less. But that's probably one of the lowest prices I've seen for a solid gold watch, and worth every penny. Please, please, please consider that for your collection. Or maybe somebody in your world at this holiday season is going to get the best gift ever. Good taste.
We have moved on to the Red Line Night Rally, a 48 millimeter racing-inspired design. A design that is actually one of our viewers, Dan, tweeted in a photo of his wrist wearing this watch. I just want to read that tweet. He wrote, "Just got this watch. It looks great and feels good on the wrist." He is rocking this exact variation, the 48 millimeter Night Rally. Thicker case, but notice the curvature. I like the knurling done in the center portion of the case, because you can see it's a multi-piece case design. Look at the knurling then in there, around that massive screw-down crown, piston-style pushers. And then look at that same texturing inside the dial. So it goes from that knurling matched up right there inside the dial. And I like the different colors that they've used inside the subdials, inside your chronograph. It really feels like you are looking at something that is wild, that is automotive, that is racing inspired. Look at that texture. That's great right there. Look at how thick the Arabic numerals and stick hour markers are, all applied. Stop and reset your VD53 with date. Quartz chronograph movement. Little pops of yellow and orange with the red. You can see even that first portion of the minute scale right there. Same thing. I just think that is cool. The tachymeter scale is just for decoration in this case because your continuous running seconds hand is for the timekeeping, but you get that tactical look. Now this watch here has a rubber strap. Ooh, look, even the rubber has that same texture as the knurling. $17 will get it home. 281-691. If you want more though, maybe you don't want a strap. Maybe you want a bracelet.
Well, how fortunate the designers have already anticipated your every whim. And they've given you all of that style, all of that look, all of that sportiness, but just like some people who really, really want the metal bracelet, they've given you that as well. It is the same 48mm watch head, but this time they've put it on a custom bracelet that with a solid end links that match right up, and I think this looks incredible. Now, one of the things you can do that may be a nice, inexpensive way to have both looks is you certainly could order it in the stainless steel and then order an additional, say, rubber strap if you wanted to have both looks. I think that would be less expensive than ordering the watch in the rubber strap and then trying to find a metal bracelet that's going to be a custom fit. It really does look great. You notice the piston style pushers really do look like pistons. I mean, that to me, again, is pulling from that automotive detail, and they have been relentless in the details of the watch. Again, look at that knurling that you were talking about in the sandwich style case, because you can see the top part of the bezel and then the bottom part of the watch, but it's all kind of knurled in there. Let's see if I can get that around there right there so you can see it. That looks great. It really does. I also like the fact that if you happen to be outside, more active, it would be easy to adjust the watch with that large crown. So I happen to like this watch a lot. I love the pops of color that are in there, and I think it looks great. It's also one of the watches that's easy to tell time from a distance. I don't know if you have anybody with low vision in your world, but sometimes finding those watches that are great, that meet a lot of additional needs, is a great way to go too. You have a date complication at the 4 o'clock position. You happen to have those 3 subdials for your chronograph, and just as Megan was talking about, you have a continuously operating sweep hand, and then what would be a small seconds at the 6 o'clock is actually for your chronograph. I think this watch has a lot of style to it, and it's a heavy watch. I mean, this is not your lightweight watch. This is this is a watch that's serious. Notice that pop of color that you don't notice until you see the side of the watch. So much detail here. $189, that's the price point for the watch. $189, but you're able to get it with us for $94, and that's incredible for a brand new design. $19 gets it home. This is going to make a great gift for somebody in your world. Don't let this one get away. The Red Line Night Rally on stainless steel bracelet or on the rubber silicone strap certainly does look great. Now, who's the number one seller of authorized seller of Invicta in the world? We are. Don't you love that? I love the fact that we have that kind of not a trick question. No, it really is. And I like this one a lot. This watch really surprises me with how lightweight it is, and part of that is going to be the construction of the bracelet. So as we're coming, oh, look at that. All right, friends and family, Invicta fans, here is a Sea Spider with a 50mm case, and look at this. You notice the entire bracelet is articulated. It bends at every spot. Some bracelets have flexibility, but these are almost like tank treads. And there's a great flexibility there. Megan, do you like this?
Do you know what's so nice about this watch is you can get that quality and that high-end feel with stainless steel, but since it's all wrapped in that polyurethane coating, you don't ever have to worry about scratching up your bracelet and having those scratches visible.
I think it looks and feels incredible. There's a lightweightness to it as well that maybe isn't quite like everything else.
It's very unique.
Oh, all right, as we're coming into that closer shot, I want you to take a look at the dial, look at the 3-hand configuration, the hour, the minute, and that continuously operating sweep hand, 2 totalers there for the chronograph, as well as a date complication at the 3 o'clock, but I want you to see the back. Here's what Megan and I both happen to like quite a bit.
Oh, I like that.
notice that they
Plated the
case back. It just says that they are doing the good stuff. Standard stainless steel case. You have a Japanese chronograph, which is going to be reliable and accurate. It's the VD57 movement inside. 200 meters of water resistance. So with 200 meters of water resistance and a great unirotating bezel, you have a great dive watch. I mean, why would you have a watch called a Sea Spider if you couldn't dive in it? All right, let's take a look at the watch on the wrist, and it is incredibly comfortable. Megan, I realize this watch may be a little big for you, but you have to feel this bracelet on the wrist. I love as it wraps around, you're seeing the pops of gold, but when you feel how comfortable this watch looks and feels on the wrist, okay, that's a big watch. You're going to see what I'm talking about when you feel it. This has a completely different feel to it than any of the watches that we've had this entire time.
I just love the way the polyurethane, it gives it kind of that sporty edge, but also makes this a great item because it's a professional diver. Look at how well that fits.
But it's not only fits, but is it not just incredibly
It feels
comfortable?
cool. Yeah, it feels really cool.
It doesn't feel like any of the other materials that are on the wrist, and I like that.
I see a lot of ladies that wear the 50+ millimeter Invicta watches. Invicta was one of the first brands, in my opinion, that really popularized everyone wearing bigger case sizes, not just men.
And this is a tasteful design, because you know, I'm not saying that Invicta is tasteless on the
Sometimes
75
they can get
millimeter.
crazy.
But there's some giant watches.
Absolutely.
And they are certainly hitting a cultural point that this is nice.
This is really fun. 119742, a 50 millimeter Sea Spider, a professional diver from Invicta.
Now, coming up right behind that, let's just completely change gears all the way around. Here is that watch. Again, this falls in. There's only been 3 on the show, and 2 of them are Maurice Lacroix. That if I had to only have one watch and had to carry for the rest of my days, this would be one of them.
Well, this is this exact variation, and then the one that's the opposite, which is the silver backdrop with the black subdials. These are the 2 that I was in that top, 5 that my boyfriend does really want for his birthday coming up. So I have to figure out which one I'm going to get. But you know what I've noticed?
What?
We dropped the price on this.
What?
Yeah, it wasn't $400 before. I think it was $500. We dropped the price a little bit more. How nice is that?
It's wonderful. I'm absolutely amazed, though, that they did that, because I was about to say...
$80 for a $1,700 watch. $80 a month.
Oh, and this feels every bit of it. I mean, there is such... It is as if every tiny little piece on this watch has been machined and meticulously finished so that there is a smoothness. What looks like the harshest edges on here are smooth. The watch is comfortable. And you're getting all of that style. I mean, you have the 3-hand configuration, the hour, the minute, continuously operating sweep hand is a small seconds at the 2 o'clock position, 2 totalers, 2 great stylized pushers right next to that crown, a large date complication at the 12 o'clock with a large dual date wheel. It is a beautiful watch, and that Swiss Ronda movement that's in there, you know is going to last for years. You have a dual push button, dual scissor deployment, which allows you to easily slip the watch off and on. And this is my favorite version of it.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not supposed to say this, but I just see Mickey Mouse, and being from Florida, that makes me happy. I mean, this is a high-end watch, $1,700, that you're getting for $80.
It's amazing. Think about all the watches that we've shown you in the past 2.5, 3 hours that have been $80. If you buy one watch a month and you've got a whole collection of $80 to $100 watches, well, you might have some great watches in there. But if you were to change your way of shopping and for the next 5 months, use your $80 a month budget to pay off this watch, now your whole watch collection has a little bit more value to it because now you've got an item that you could wear for the rest of your life and then maybe even pass down.
Speaking of Maurice Lacroix quality, I have not shared this with you. The Maurice Lacroix that I bought, which is an automatic, stays on a watch winder when I'm not wearing it.
Good idea.
And I've probably had, for a month now,
Yeah.
I've not lost a minute yet.
Really?
Now, I have a certified chronograph that's in a chronometer that's within another brand that I lose the traditional 10 to 15, maybe 20 seconds a day, maybe 15. That Maurice Lacroix has not lost time yet. That is the craftsmanship. I mean, I cannot tell you as a watch collector how impressed I am with that movement. Here is a watch from that same company that has watches that are tens of thousands of dollars for under 400 bucks. It's a watch for a lifetime. I mean, what is that worth?
A lot more than 80 bucks a month.
If you give this as a gift, someone will think about you every single time they tell the time. Do you have a young person in your world, a spouse in your world, a boyfriend in your world that you want to always have them think of you? Give them this watch. All right, folks. It's 286501.
Usually it's just the shock collar I make him wear. The watch is much nicer.
Revealing far too much information there. We should move on, shall we? Children are watching. 278945. A beautiful Seiko is coming right up. And there's a lot of watch here. Good heavens, look at this.
I know. This has one of those straps I love.
What is? This is one of the ones you're going to instantly have to say, I have to have that watch.
I just love...
And I agree with you.
You know, I love vintage military and kind of tactical inspired designs. And this one has it all. Not only do you have a compass, an alarm, you have so many different features on this one watch. This is like the Swiss Army knife of watches, so to speak.
This watch, to me, of course, you do have the alarm configuration built into it, but it also is part of their solar collection. And just as Citizen has the Echo Drive, Seiko has their solar collection. And that simply means that this watch allows light, any sort of photon, to pass through the dial, and it's going to be able to charge up the power cell on the inside. You're never going to have to buy a battery for this. In fact, 1 minute of light exposure is equal to 1 hour of the watch running. So even if this watch were put into complete darkness over a long period of time, the computer inside is still going to keep track of time, and it only needs to be exposed to the light for it to know exactly how to pick back up where it needs to be. You notice there's an additional crown right here. This is talk about adventurer's watch. It happens to have a bidirectional inner rotating bezel. And that is absolutely cool because it's protected by the crystals, so you don't have to worry about damaging that. Often we worry about if you have some sort of covering over your bezel, sometimes it can get scratched, bumped. In fact, I had a watch the other day that the bezel was messed up and it wasn't usable anymore. Here, it's protected. Of course, you're able to see that there is also that date complication within there and all the multiplicity of subdials for the chronograph. It's a great watch. Now, the watch sells for $445. That's what you're going to pay in the department stores, but when you realize we've marked it down to $286, and then we've taken that price point down all the way to $194.99 and only $39. That's your first of 5 stress-free, interest-free payments gets that beautiful watch home. Slipping it on the wrist real quick, and I think Megan, who happens to like this watch, needs to see it herself too. So I'm just taking a quick peek. A quick peek. Hello, they're having a quick peek. I thought you'd enjoy the watch. Right there, somewhere we're going to get an offensive letter. But take a look right there.
Wouldn't be the first one.
I'm the one writing them. All right, now I think that looks great on my wrist. Quick close up, then we'll come back to the live shot because that's all pre-recorded right there. I'm not even here.
Yeah, right.
Do
you know that 6 o'clock subdial? That's a secondary time zone.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
It also is what's going to set the alarm for there too.
Lots of different functionality on this watch.
Looks great.
This has the V172 Japanese chronograph quartz movement inside. Of course, that is a movement made by Seiko. You've probably heard us talk a lot about movements on the show when we reference even some of our own brands. You know, our own brands like Redline and Lucien Piccard, we use Seiko and Miyota, which are Citizen movements. So right here from it themselves. I obviously have spoken many times on the show about my love for nylon straps. And so this one does one better, and let me show you why. The nylon strap is actually stitched down onto a leather strap.
Oh, that's nice, because if you perspire, you're not going to have the nylon rubbing against you. You have comfortable leather. That's
exactly,
nice.
And you know, sometimes nylon straps, like they get a little loose.
Yep.
That's
going to hold its shape.
Oh yeah, it's like wearing a leather strap. Here it is on my 6-inch wrist. I love the look. I just think it is fun. It is cool. It's got a compass inside, a secondary time zone, an alarm. You've got Seiko LumiBrite, which is some of the most luminous lume. Can you say luminous lume? Some of the most vibrant lume in the watch world is Seiko LumiBrite. $195. Look at that, you're under $40 a month.
Hardlex crystal. Hardlex is proprietary to Seiko, which, you know, we all love sapphire and we love Sapphitech, we love flame fusion. All of those are incredibly hard, but the hardness can create a brittleness, which means it can shatter. Seiko decided, you know what, we want the best of both worlds. We want a very, very scratch-resistant material, but also want something with a little bit of flexibility, and they created Hardlex, which is a hard, flexible material that's similar to a glass or crystalline substance, and it is a great, great crystal for your watch.
278-945. If you wait until Sunday after midnight, price goes up to nearly $300. How sad is that, knowing you can get it now on 5 payments of $39? Swiss legend, the Ocean Abyssos. This right here, 100 meters of water resistance, so some fun free diving, if you will, some fun snorkeling and recreational diving, not professional grade. That would mean 200 meters of water resistance. 47 millimeter case, all blacked out, $73. Here features the best of all Swiss Legend has to offer. Swiss-made chronograph movement inside. It's the ISA 8172. The reason I like the 8172 is, personally, I don't need a chronograph to time things. I'm never at races or doing things that require a chronograph. I like this one because if I want to use the chrono, it'll time something for 30 minutes. But more importantly, the 6 o'clock subdial gives me the day of the week. And then I've got my date window at the 4 o'clock position. So you get a day and date quartz chronograph movement. For me personally, and perhaps for some of you out there, I need that kind of movement more than I need a movement that would give me 1/100th of a second accuracy. Not that there's anything wrong with that. You have to decide what works for you. It appears to be a fixed bezel, right? It's like almost flat against the case, but it's a unidirectional rotating bezel. This watch is all blacked out, but then the bezel insert has a little pop of silver to it. Everything else, though, on this watch, totally blacked out. It's a 47 millimeter case. It's relatively flat, but you do have the curvature at the lugs and the integrated soft touch silicone strap. Silicone straps are super comfortable. Look at how I sized this down to the tightest closure on my 6-inch wrist, and it fits. It goes edge to edge because it's a little bit longer, but look, no gapping, no spacing, super easy to wear. And again, a silicone strap that can accommodate over a 9-inch wrist. You get a 5-year warranty on the movement. You get a 10-year warranty on that Sapphitech crystal. 245-914. Look at the stress-free payments. $14.60. Let's just say $15 a month for this watch. 245-914. The Ocean Abyssos from Swiss Legend. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will round out our show today. Now, we will be back again tomorrow with an all-new lineup. You can see today and tomorrow's lineup posted at WorldofWatches.tv right now. So in case you want to shop ahead of time or if you missed any of the show. We're going to recap for a few minutes. And we're going to start with the best-selling watch of the past 3 hours and trickle down from there. We have no idea. Much like that top 10, we never have any idea where the show is going. So it's always fun for us, too, to see what you guys are buying.
Any guesses?
No, I hope my hot pick is still in there somewhere.
It will be.
Let's see. The #1 selling watch of the show.
They're still calculating. They've got the abacus in there. I'm watching them. I'm literally there's a window right there. We're watching them add up the watches.
All right, let's see what it is.
What is it?
Ah!
Oh.
My hot pick. You know, everybody
course.
else wins. I don't win on this because you know what? The 42 millimeter Swiss-made Blue Genève is stunning. You have mother of pearl and ceramic, 200 meters of water resistance in a Swiss-made watch. There are 4 sizes to this timepiece, so you do have some options there. 5 payments of $36 gets this beauty home. 287-844.
Actually, it just shows folks have exceptionally good taste. And speaking of good taste, how about the Swiss Legend 46 millimeter Abyssos automatic? Now, this is a serious dive instrument because it has 1,000 meters of water resistance, all within that Swiss-made watch. This is an incredible value because a watch that should be $1,500 is under $280. Unbelievable that $56 gets this watch home. And this is one of both of our favorite variations, is the rose tone case. Now the case is 19 millimeters thick and 46 millimeters wide. But when it sits on the wrist, it is the perfect fit. So this is the watch in the dressier variation that if you needed to go out to dinner, go to the office, and then head down to find the Titanic, you have got the right watch for you. 274855. Right behind that is the Lucien Piccard 45 millimeter Murano. This is one of the newest variations of watch with that brand new movement in there. And you're going to love how this looks. Now this comes in a couple of different variations, and this gold tone has got to be a big seller. It also comes in a black and silver tone. That is stunning. Both of them are at recordly low prices for new introduced watches. $119.99, only $24 gets it home. Right behind that is one of my favorite watches, and that is the Transocean. Now this 43 millimeter Transocean happens to have 450 parts on the inside of it. It has the B19 movement, which is a 38 jewel automatic, 42 hours of power reserve, all within that 316L stainless steel case, protected by a beautiful sapphire crystal, and an incredible price point, almost half of what you normally pay.
Following up right behind that,
Oop, you know what it is?
Maurice Lacroix. This is the 40 millimeter Pontos automatic GMT. 286519, not $4,400, but $1,500. 6 payments of $248. It ships after your first payment. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Wiley and I will be back again tomorrow with an all new lineup.
See you soon.